Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. I hope you're all doing well. Again, more importantly, blue morning to you. Today, we're going to talk about some updates regarding the sale of Chelsea Football Club, and also we'll go into talking about the Chelsea fight for a defeat to on aggregate to Real Madrid in the second in a both two-legged quarterfinals game against Real Madrid. So let's get into it. Yes, people, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Blue morning to you all, and more importantly, I hope everyone is doing well. And I really do. I mean that. Before we continue, I will quickly breeze through the chat to stay updated. Say hello to everyone in the chat before we continue. And we have Tobago, who's the first to be in the chat today. He says, good morning, good afternoon, and blue morning. Good way to put it. I love that. And Tobago also says, hit the like button. Please do that. That's important. He will trigger the the YouTube algorithm to push the stream to even more people. And yeah, this is just Ankit, tough to take, but we try and move. Yep, proud and onward and upwards. Yes, I'm so proud of the boys. I wasn't even mad that we lost. I felt bad for the players because they gave it their all. They were brilliant on the day, and they were the better side. And both, you could say over two legs, the better side are lost. I think Chelsea deserves to progress to the semifinals, but for some reason, that didn't happen. Again, being a rough night there, it's been a rough night. I couldn't even sleep. I watched the match over and over again, trying to figure out what went wrong. But then again, sometimes these things happen. You need some bit of luck to achieve your goal, but it has happened. Again, this is Glenn saying a better team lost. Sadly, we could have, Madrid with our heads held up high. We gave them a run for their money. I think they were scared at the time. They were just wasting time. I think the players themselves knew we were at the better side. But again, it didn't just happen for us. That Rudiger sleep gave me Vietnam flashbacks to ASEAN sleep against Barcelona. Yeah, I understand those things. It does happen every now and then. Just Viola, Queen of the House, big up to you. I hope you're doing well. Where is he? Been here. System update as usual. Some technical issue, but this time it didn't slow us down forever. And it was done in a systematic way so people know, yes, we're going to start. It just cut the time, the postponement into 15 minutes each. So that made it easier for people to understand, yes, we're coming back. I says, Mikhail says, yeah, heartbroken, but again, we move and we have to stay strong. Blue morning to you, Kachila. Blue morning to you, just Viola. Always nice to see you. Big up, Kachila. But we saw fight and hunger in yesterday's game. The ref was poor. Did you think Alonso's goal was... again, the rule is so difficult to interpret. You never know what's right and what's wrong. But once I saw that, I knew there's a chance that they will, disallow that goal. But it could have gone either way because you cannot prove that his hand touched the ball. But if you look closely, you see it touched his hand. But some referee would have said he knew nothing about it, plus his hands were close to his body. That's enough to say, okay, it remains a goal. But again, on the day we had a referee who think that was a handball and, didn't give it. So proud. Yeah, I'm so proud also to be a Chelsea fan. I cannot wait for Tuchel to get his players. Kante and Pulisic was poor. I wouldn't blame Kante. Remember, this same Kante is the same Kante that won us the UEFA Europa League when he was half fit, and again during the UEFA Champions League final, he was half fit too. And you must remember he was fasting, and they broke their fast just I think 15 minutes before kickoff. You could say that they still have impaired judgment, and especially somebody like Kante who runs quite a lot. So I wouldn't blame him, and I would not let him go. I don't think the club will let him go either. I think they will understand those factors also did play a part in his performance. He wasn't awful either, but then again, he wasn't at his best. Kante's performance is downgraded this season. Let's be honest. You could argue that, but I don't think we should let him go. If you let him go, you get other clubs who will find a way to use him, and then we'll look back and say what happened. If Modric, who's in his approaching his late 30s, can play that good, then Kante can do even better. So we must be careful how we're calling for Kante to be sold. I think maybe we need to rethink that. We shouldn't even entertain that thought, if you like. Kante was poor, but I got so triggered when people started blaming him for the second goal. No, we shouldn't blame him at all. Those things happen. If there's anybody to blame, again, if we want to argue that, I'd start blaming Mendy. The whole thing started with a poor distribution when he wasted time a lot and then just booted the ball to a throw-in. That's one of the reasons why I've argued that he averages one serious mistake per game. And this is Blue Morning. Good to see Timo picking up literally flawed Madrid entire defense. That is one delicious comment from my brother Olupol, and believe me, I love it. I love this kind of comments. Timo, to prove a lot of people wrong, he wasn't just Southampton, he was on fire. And again, like I said before, he was on fire against Southampton, and he looked rejuvenated. So I wasn't surprised that he started, and I wanted him to start. And the coach indeed saw the reason to to start him. He started, and he did not disappoint. But unfortunately for us, he wasn't able to finish the game. He had a knock or something, or some injury, but I'm not sure what that was. I wouldn't blame Kante. I will start blaming Mendy from a poor clearance. That was why they had the chance to come back at us in the first place. But he was tired. Yeah, he was really tired. Benzema might have been fasting too. He definitely was fasting. He's a Muslim, so definitely he was fasting also. This says, I'm not making no excuses for Kante this season. He's been poor. On occasions, he's been poor, but I wouldn't say he's the main reason why we've been struggling. I think we'll find a better way to use him and not have issues with him being on the pitch. But that's by the way. I'm not sure what to make of that, brother. We are best team in the world. I think you could argue that, and the future is looking really bright. The way we played yesterday, it was just beautiful to watch. I think you can saw the boys in the team have all become a man. I think this whole lot of reason why we considered that second goal, we considered the first and the second goal. No need to blame a single individual. We could just look at it from a technical or tactical perspective. Or just you can say, okay, this is why it happened, and also try not to blame any individual because they all did quite well. It says we should have packed the bus. No, I think that's not Thomas Tuchel, and it would make the situation worse actually, because we're not built that way. If we try to pack the bus, they will keep coming at us and eventually score goals that we don't want them to score. True Blue says Kante fasting as was Rudiger. Concentration level drop, not surprising. Exactly, great point there. So because when you're hungry, even if you eat 15 minutes before the game, I think that's not enough time for your body to process the food you eat and replenish the energy you need. So yeah, you have impaired judgment. So I wouldn't blame the players at all. I am not calling for Kante to leave. I get your point. Exactly, coach. Not just now. I could start yapping about it. Mendy didn't give it away in the first place. We would have won. Exactly. Yep. That's a whole lot of stuff. So no need to start blaming players. Kante runs and runs and runs. There's only so much running he can do. That's a delicious comment there. So now I'm going to hold on a bit because I have Nick Blue with me on the panel to get them to, say something about his opinion on the overall performance of the players. Nick, over to you.
Yeah, welcome to everyone on the chat. Hope you're all well. Yeah, it was a great performance. What I expected, I got it
Mm,
right. I said if we go 1-0 at halftime, we have a great chance, and we did. We made it 3-0. Great performance by the team. Great performance.
mm-hmm.
But and I was wrong about Timo Werner. How wrong was I? He showed up again. A big up to
Yep.
Timo Werner. He's a true blue for me now. And Alonso, he proved all the haters wrong. Great performance. The what cost us the game was the VAR decision,
Mm-hmm.
and that wasn't a penalty. That was accidental. The rules are they've changed. Last year it would have been disallowed for sure, but this year if the ball hits his hand by accident, it shouldn't be disallowed. And then you can ask any English referee about that. Even if you
Mm-hmm.
watch the game on the BT, the ref, I forgot his name now. He said that's no way should be disallowed, no way. So that cost us the game really. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't by any player. I can't single out any player. All right, Mendy shouldn't have kicked that ball out like that.
Mm-hmm.
Rudiger shouldn't slip, but they're only human. He slipped. It can happen to anyone. I don't blame
Yep.
Rudiger. He had a great game. So did Mendy. All the players had a great game. 9 out of 10 for everyone,
Mm-hmm.
especially Reece James. You know, he marked the what's his called? Um, he marked. He didn't let Vinicius get in front of him at all. He had him all game, and we had Benzema. Benzema scored because of Modric unbelievable pass. Only Modric
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
can do a pass like that. We had that with Fabregas in the past, but we don't have that right now. But that was a world class pass, and not what that and a world class header by for Benzema. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
blame the players. I'm very proud of them, and like even Tuchel said it. He's so proud because we give everything. Like I wanted, they gave everything. It's
Yeah,
sad
it's
we
it's
didn't
it's
win.
one of those it's
Wait,
one of
wait,
those
let me
games.
finish, coach.
Yeah,
It's
go ahead.
it's very sad. I felt sick at the end of the game, but we can't do nothing. But I'm still proud of the players and the team and the manager. And even
Mm-hmm.
Tuchel said it. We have everything against us. COVID this year, we had the sanctions going on. We had everything, and on top of that, we have VAR against us and certain referees. And you can see they wasn't going to give that goal for Alonso because we're playing at Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, and they would never give it to us. That's what makes it more sick, and that's the truth.
Again, my argument would be it depends on who the referee is, and again, like you said, I think that some referee would just say, okay, he knew nothing about it. But you did mention something about the rules, that the rule have changed, and maybe the referee is not well. I've heard other people say that also. Maybe the referee is not well acquainted with the change of the rule, or well informed, or something like that. But that's by the way. On the day, I think we played very well, and even you could hear Timo Werner saying Timo Werner says something. What's it get like? He thought with won the game, and yeah. But that's by the way. I think these things happen every now and then, and we just saw that. I think it was that is it's a game that we tried to win, but it just didn't happen for us. But we can all be proud of the boys. They did their job. They were brilliant on the day, and they did not give up. They did not disappoint. They were the better. Chelsea were the better side until the man in the middle blew the whistle. But then again, like I mentioned before, for some reason it just did not happen for us. With that, I want to welcome Eric Blue to the panel. Eric, how are you doing? We haven't spoken for a while. I hope you're doing well, brother.
Yes, I'm doing all right. My voice is a bit, hoarse, but other than that, obviously disappointing result. Fantastic
Hmm.
guys. I think they tried. They really did.
Yeah,
But I think the first leg cost the team. Obviously, very happy to be back on the channel. It's been too long. I don't know what time it is over there in
it is.
um in
It is 3:50 a.m.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. Mm.
So it's an early start for you then. Okay, so
Yeah, that's
y-
why I always have a
right,
pot of coffee in front of me,
right.
so that I'd be able to stay awake throughout the show. But that's, by the way, it happens. I enjoy it, so the time doesn't. It's nothing to me anyway. So
Okay.
overall, Eric, your thoughts on the game from the first leg to the second leg, or especially the second leg. Your thoughts on the performance of the boys.
Yeah, I couldn't ask for more in terms of the desire and the quality from the
Hmm.
players. If I was
Hmm.
nitpicking, I would say they should score maybe a few more goals. Maybe they shouldn't concede two, but that's just nitpicking. I think they did a lot. We tried a lot. Um, we did a, we I'm not going to say we did all we could, but um, in the circumstances with everything that has gone on, the
Mm.
fact that the players have had so many good results and good performances, you have to give them credit. I'm not going to overlook all the uh, you know all the problems that we've had this season as if it doesn't matter, or as if it's not important. Those things play a
Mm.
factor because the Chelsea that I saw in the first leg is not the Chelsea that I recognize at all. We don't concede those many goals. It just doesn't happen like that. So yeah, it is what it is. We considered 5 goals over 2 legs.
Mm.
If you do that, you don't really deserve to go to the next
Progress.
round. Yeah, so I have to say, fantastic performance, fantastic effort, but just wasn't good enough on this occasion. But we will be back. We'll be back next season, and we'll go for it again. But yeah,
I think the future looks bright. If you ask me, that was you could argue one of the best performances of the boys under Thomas Tuchel. I mean, they were together. You could see that they were determined to win in that game. The pressing was impressive. It's strategic. It wasn't. They weren't just running for the sake of it, and they didn't look. None of them looked tired. Except I think you could argue Ruben Loftus-Cheek at some point, looked tired and couldn't or didn't do enough. But I'm not. This is not me blaming him. I think it was for the equalizing. I think it was for Benzema's headed goal. I think he didn't press well in that period. He looked a bit tired, but then again, this I have to be clear. This is not me blaming a single individual in that loss. I think we did our best. We outplayed Real Madrid at home, and as you can see, the rating here on the screen by Fortmob, I think we were just unlucky. I think, if you ask me. And again, like I said, the future looks bright. I think if we can keep these guys together from the defense to the attack, maybe some recruitment for the defensive area, because the fact that Benzema scored 3 headed goals over the 2 legs is an issue for me. Nick, I want to get your thoughts on that. What do you think? The fact that Karim Benzema scored 3 headed goals
Yes.
against us
Yeah.
over the 2 legs, it's a big
Yeah.
problem for me. It shows that something
Yeah.
isn't. We have an issue in that aspect.
Yeah, we do, and that's why I could see your point about Christensen starting, but Tuchel didn't start him because of the first leg.
Hmm.
And we had Chalobah there on the bench as well, but he didn't want to take the risk because he hasn't played for so long. I can't blame Tuchel, but we might need to strengthen it, of course. I just want the new owners to back Tuchel, give him the long contract, give him a 10-year contract or more, and he will
Mm.
make this team great. If they're back Tuchel, I'm sure we're going to win the Premiership next year and the Champions League as well. All they have to do is back him, give him
Mm.
the what he wants, and get the players out who he doesn't want. So that's the main thing. We need another defender, one more midfielder. Mind you, the midfield is going to be stronger next year with Gallagher and Gilmore coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Broja at the attack. We have great players. So there's no reason why we don't go on and win the league next year, as long as they back him. So let's see. We're going to find out a bit more about the new owner end of the week, I think. The final bids coming through, and we're going to know a lot more.
Yeah, there's a chance. There's a chance that happens. You still talking, Nick?
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, go on.
Okay. I'm going to come to you, Eric, and I appreciate you finding time to join. I wasn't sure when you're free and when you're not free. But the question I want to ask, because it's important that we talk about it. I argued during the pregame show and also during the Impossible Is Nothing show. It was a Blue Money show also episode. Did I say something like, I learned about that aspect of Thiago Silva's game. As good as he is, he lacks. He doesn't attack crosses as well as he should. And I argued that having played under Carlo Ancelotti, he must be well aware of that aspect of his game. And I argued that the fact that they scored two-headed goals against us in that first leg wasn't an accident, that it was by design. They knew exactly what they were doing. And if you look at Modric, the ball he played into the box before Karim Benzema's the second goal at Stamford Bridge, he didn't even look up. He just trapped it and just played it. I want to get your thoughts, Eric. The fact we considered three-headed goals, you could argue the third one, which was at the Bernabeu, Antonio Rudiger slipped. But the fact again is that he wasn't even close to Benzema. Even if he didn't slip, I doubt he'd be able to stop that header. Your thoughts, Eric?
Well, just starting off with the third goal, the third-headed goal you mentioned. I think that is. I don't want to blame anybody in particular, but the way we lost the ball, we didn't really put pressure on the. We didn't really press well enough to try and close the space down. And as soon as Vinicius got the ball, I was concerned. I expected a goal. I can't even pretend. Like, I expected the same thing that happened at home in the first leg to happen again, and that's what happened. Benzema scored again.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's unfortunate that Rudiger slipped, but it is what it is. When you have a player like Benzema, I believe Benzema was part of the reason why Rudiger slipped. He moved, he went inside, came back out again. His movements is what
dynamic.
His movement made Rudiger slip, and he more or less had a free header, and that was game over at that point. So it's unfortunate. Silva wasn't even in the equation on that occasion. But I don't know if that's necessarily maybe a negative for Silva. I need to watch the replay and see where exactly he was on the pitch. But in terms of the first leg, it seems like the team just didn't handle those crosses in general. And if you know Real Madrid, especially when they won the Champions League three times in a row, they're very good with these set piece situations. They really are. It's one of their strong suits. And with the players they have, who can deliver the ball, Kroos and Modric, and even Casemiro, and with someone like Benzema in the team now, that's always a danger. And he wasn't even, in the first leg it was Vinicius, and it was a very similar goal to the second leg. So it was it was not just from Silva, but from the defense in general. We just did not deal with the balls into the box. And I have to say, as much as I like Mendy and as much as I think he's still world class, I think he's probably the best keeper in the world right now. I would still say that. That doesn't sound very popular. I know people would disagree. But as much as I rate him highly,
Eric, you're 100%. He's the best in the world. You can't, because he made that mistake in the first leg, you can't call him out. Some people are saying let's play Kepa from now. crazy.
Yeah.
Sorry for coming in,
No,
but
you're right. Yeah, you're
I
right.
have to back you there because it's true.
Yeah.
You know,
That whole
Go ahead,
Kepa thing,
Eric.
I don't even want to talk about the Kepa thing. For me, it's just yeah. I don't want to waste energy talking about that. But
Mm-hmm.
Mendy was also part of the reason why. And you, as a keeper, you're the last line. You're literally like, if a keeper makes a mistake, it's over. Obviously, that third goal in the first leg, that was
Mm-hmm.
huge. But even apart from that, he doesn't necessarily make himself big, in the goal. When Benzema scored that first header, you know, it- I don't know. Maybe Mendy should have done better. Maybe he couldn't have done better. But it didn't seem like he had the presence in the goal the way you would think for somebody of Mendy's size. He doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
fill up the goal the way Donnarumma does, for example. And I know that Donnarumma isn't as good as Mendy, obviously, but you know, it doesn't seem like he's as imposing as you would expect of him. You know, you would hope for a similar performance to what he did in the League Cup final, where he was literally unstoppable. Like you couldn't get the ball past him. He was unplayable, probably, and even the Liverpool fans were so nervous because nothing they were doing was working. And he was so good in that game. So that's what you expect to see more from Mendy specifically. But it just seemed like you know, he wasn't making himself big in the goal, which is fair enough. I completely agree with that analysis that I heard yesterday. So I think that's fair enough. But like you say, the defense just in general, it's not even just about the crosses. We were so
Mm-hmm.
bad in that first leg. People not following runners. The organization just not there. You can't do that at this level. It doesn't matter that the Real Madrid are not what they used to be. It doesn't matter that they're not, as good as they used to be. They still have quality players.
Experience is everything.
Yeah, they still have quality players. Yes, Modric is old, but look at how he plays. Look how he doesn't
Look
play
at
like
look
some.
at the pass to what's the key now? So side foot.
Yeah, the outside of the foot to Rodrigo.
Yeah.
That was
Mm-hmm.
for me that first goal. I don't think anybody could have done anything about that goal. Honestly, I tried to think, okay, maybe this person could have been closer. Maybe he should have done that. But for me, that goal was just incredible. That was,
But
that was just world class.
overall, Eric, I'm going to come back to you quickly. Let me just breeze through the chat because this is an interactive show. I still need you to let me know whether you think it's an issue because I think it's really an issue. If you analyze those goals, the three-headed goals, at least the last one, you could say you give Rudiger a break because he slipped. But the first and second one just showed how vulnerable we are when the crosses from the opponent players are not on the carpet but in the air. I think we seem to struggle to defend that. And again, I'm still arguing the fact that he scored two-headed goals against us in the first leg. It wasn't by accident; it was by design. Carlo, having coached Thiago Silva, knew he had that problem. But I'll come back to you a bit. Let me just breeze through the chat. This is Alino Jewel saying, get Pulisic out of this club. He flopped. And at what point are we going to start to talk about Ruben's lack of work ethic? I think that's a good point too. He seemed to be not to give it all his all when you expect him to do that. Even at some point on the sideline, Thomas Tuchel was frustrated how he didn't. That's a ball that we all thought he was going to get to and do something with it, but he just gave up. And again, that run for this Benzema's headed goal in the second leg, I think he should have done more, but rather he decided to, head towards the center of the pitch and in our own area, and Vini continued down the flank. But that's by the way. And again, if you haven't, please do go and check out Alina Jewel YouTube channel. Great content and never, his opinion, but in most cases, he just he's not the one to jump onto the train because everybody's on the train. He makes his voice heard. If he feels like it shouldn't be like this, he says it as it is and doesn't change his mind because every other person is on the right hand side also. But that's by the way. We have Fraser saying we don't blame. We say what happened exactly. Don't blame that. That's good to put it that way. Yes, we were bad in the first leg, but we were almost redeemed. We almost redeemed ourselves, and you could say we redeemed ourselves. We didn't win in the two legs, but we outplayed them at home. And I don't think they expected that to happen. But again, lots of positives to take from the game. Like I said, the future is bright. If we can keep everybody in this team together, with a few exceptions, if you ask me, you are blaming. What about the good things our players did? Exactly. No need to blame anybody. I'm sorry if I did that, or if my statements came across to you as if I'm blaming anybody. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. But we have to talk about the fact that it looks like, we seem to find it difficult to defend crosses when it's not on the carpet. Whenever it's on the air, we don't do well. We need to sell Jorginho. I think this is no time to talk about who to sell or who to keep. I don't think it helps us at all. Let me see. Again, with that, I'm going to go back to Eric a bit to complete his thoughts. If you haven't, please make sure to like the video, to trigger the Google algorithm, to push the stream to more people who will be interested in this discussion. And again, I will be highlighting the comments and I will go through them one by one. And if you want your question to be answered, or if you want us to talk about your input, make sure that it's aligned with what we're talking about at this point. Midway through the show, we will switch to updates on the sale of the club. But please, more importantly, if you haven't, be sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Alex, Eric, go ahead. Sorry, I did not mean to cut you off.
No, I was just saying, so to answer your question, in terms of obviously selling players, we can't even talk about that right now. There's plenty of time.
Yeah.
There's plenty of time for that later. But, to answer your question, I think it's not necessarily a major problem going forward. I don't really think we struggle too much in general. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think Chelsea generally do well with crosses. We don't really concede too many headed goals in general. Maybe a few, in some of the cups. I remember against Plymouth Argyle, one or two other games, we conceded some headers, but I don't think it's a major problem going forward.
Okay, if you say so, I think if you say so, I wouldn't argue against it. It's become a concern to me because I've taken some time to analyze that. But then again, you could be right. It's not a major problem at this point. But still, I'd argue we need reinforcements in the defensive area because Thiago Silva, he's not Benjamin Silva. He is Thiago Silva, and we know how old he is. He's not getting any younger. Nick, your thoughts on the fact that we conceded three-headed goals in both legs? Nick, are you still there?
I guess.
Okay,
not.
I think we've lost him. So, Eric, I want to ask you this question, Eric, if you can hear me.
Yeah.
What would you say? What would you say? What did you learn from that game?
Right.
Overall.
Okay, so I learned from the second leg that Real Madrid are a team with pedigree, huge pedigree. For me, they're the biggest club in the world. Even though I already knew that, I didn't really learn that, but I learned that no matter what, the team is always dangerous. Madrid are always a dangerous team.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
You can't write them off.
You can't. You can never write them off. We've seen what they've done in the past. They still have quality players. It doesn't matter that they're old. They're still fantastic players. They are able to make the difference when it counts. And Chelsea just doesn't have that. We just don't have that. We don't have a player like Benzema in our team. We don't even have a player. We don't have a player like Modric in our team who can play a pass like the one we saw for the first goal. So that's one thing I learned. The second thing I learned is that in the Champions League, you have to be so careful. You have to take your chances, and you have to be so careful defensively, because
balance.
That balance is so important, and it's even more important to be solid defensively. Because there's little margin for error when people make this comparison between league football and something like the Champions League, and they just limit it to a cup competition. They make it seem like it's so easy to win the Champions. Oh, it's just a cup competition. And they make it seem as if it's more difficult to win a league title than it is to win the Champions League. And many people...
Eric, I have to come in there. It is more harder to win the league title. You can't compare any cup competition, with the league. The league.
Okay, so
the league is a year-long
All right,
thing.
hold on.
You have to be good. You can't say that. I don't
Okay,
agree with
no,
that
I
at
can't.
all.
I can't say it, and I'll say it again. So you said it's more difficult, but the logic doesn't follow, because if it's more difficult, how come Manchester United have 20 league titles and they only have 3 Champions Leagues? How
Yeah.
come Man
Let me
City?
ask you.
No, hold on. I
I'll
haven't
answer you.
finished. I haven't Hold on. I haven't
Let
finished.
him finish. Let him finish, Nick.
How come Man City have 6 league titles and they have 0 Champions League? Arsenal have 13 league titles and they have 0 Champions Leagues as well. So if it's more difficult to win a league title, why does the maths not add up?
Yeah.
So quickly,
Let me answer him, coach.
yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Because look, Man United won all them league titles under Ferguson when they had all the money in the world. They had the best players in the world, and that's why they kept winning the league title. Now Man City are doing the same. They have the best equipped squad for the league. They have, the reason they don't win the Champions League, Man City, that's pure down to bad luck at the moment. But I'm sure they can go on and win it
Sorry, yeah.
this year.
Man City have 8. So sorry, seven
Yeah,
league titles. Man City have 7, not
yeah.
6.
But look, it's different. You can't compare the
No, but
winning
you
the
didn't answer. No,
Premiership
hold on, Nick. You didn't
with
answer the
any cup
question.
competition. Ask
You just
anyone you want.
no. That's you're
Okay,
making
Nick, he has a
excuses.
question for you. Let him ask you the question. If you answer it, then we can move on. And
I
quickly, let me just say, I read something
mhm.
here from one of the, we're family here. Glenn says, I have to leave you legends early today, going for a heart checkup. Last night's game has not helped at all. I understand. Yeah, I'm good. You're getting a laugh out of it. I think you'll be fine. Big up everyone. Heads held high. Focus on Palace next up the Chelsea. Again, Nick, I hope everything, the checkup comes out good. I think you'll be fine. We, the family here, your family here at Chelsea Perspective, we'll be praying for you and see you when you get back. So go ahead, whoever was talking.
Yeah, let me
Yeah.
just wait one. Sorry, Eric. Just one. Just now, because Glenn said about his heart, there's something really important I have to say. There's a Chelsea supporter who's going to be at Wembley, and he's got two more weeks to live. He put it out on Twitter. His son put it out on Twitter that in the 66 minutes, that's his age, 66 years old. He's been a
Oh,
lifelong supporter. 66 minutes at Wembley this Sunday, sorry. So we give him a 1 minute silence, which I will do for sure. And I'm sure thousands more will. Yeah, and he's got, look, the guy's so, what courage does this man have? He's got 2 weeks to go. All he wants is to hear the Chelsea fans give him a 1 minute silence. That's unbelievable.
against Crystal Palace.
Yes, on Sunday.
Okay, then we will do that for him during the pregame show. We'll give him a 1 minute silence during the pregame show, just to remind us. You'll be in the stadium then, right?
Yeah, of course I'm there. Yeah, with my
Okay,
son
since you'll be in the stadium, I think we'll coordinate with you once the minute silence starts. You'll be on camera, and we can do that together for
it's very important.
the person. Yeah.
What courage does this man have? When I saw it on Twitter, it really moved me. So
it is moving indeed. It is moving indeed.
Over 3,000 likes. His son for the comments, and I'm sure every Chelsea fan will do that on Sunday. Unbelievable. Sorry.
So again, for the people in the chat, go ahead. You were saying something, Eric?
No, I'm just agreeing with Nick.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna have to try. We'll have to try and come back to the game. But quickly, I want to say to everybody in the chat, if you haven't, please do make sure to like the video. If you do that, I mean, and again, it is free. It takes just a second, and if you do that, it helps trigger the YouTube algorithm to push the stream to even more people. And we have 20 likes. Let's shoot. We have how many people watching? About 30 people watching. Let's shoot for at least 30. Let's measure that number in terms of likes. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. So again, let's try and get to 1,300 subscribers today. Right now, we're just 1,212, and I know we can achieve that. So again, I'm going to breeze through the chat again. I hope you guys on the panel don't mind. And Tobago, welcome to the panel.
Big up, guys. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm
Yeah.
doing well. I can't complain. I hope it's the same for you.
Big up to Tobago. What a great man he is.
Mm.
I love your comments, Tobago. You have great points. I love the way you talk.
Yeah. So let me quickly.
Thank you.
Let me quickly go through the chat. Benzema scored from a cross last season with his foot. Porto scored from a cross with a volley. So True Blue, help me know the point you're trying to make here. Maybe there's something to learn there. Let's see. It says we Kit Werner take the loss on Lukaku. Again, that's you. We were lucky to win the 2012. We were not the best team in Europe, nor were we last season. But we won it, so we were the best. The best team wins. That's just the simple logic to decide who's better. But you could decide to go with eye test. Then you may have a different view of the whole thing. But that's, by the way, that's an argument for another day. True, correct. To win, it's easier. Yes, I saw that too. Okay, that's just for about what Nick said. Let me see if there's anything. Again, if you want us to talk about your input, make sure it's aligned with the current comment. I think I saw something here that I wanted us to read. I think Marcos Alonso could have closed up early on Rodrigo, but it's all good. We move. But we have to talk about that. Eric, I'm going to start with you. Do you think that's correct? This comment by Olupo.
Yeah, it's difficult to say. Maybe I need to watch it back, but watching it in real time, I just felt that there was not much that we could have done with that first goal. It was just a very sometimes there are goals that you just can't do too much about. It just is what it is for me personally. But the point I was trying to make earlier on, just to go quickly back to the tangent I was on. So what I'm trying to say is, you can't tell me the winning the Premier League or winning a league title is more difficult because there's more margin for error. There's more margin of error. In the Champions League, if you make one mistake, it's over. We were fantastic in that second leg, but because of what happened in the first leg, it wasn't enough. It wasn't good enough. So the main point I'm trying to make is, nobody can convince me that it's easier to win a league title because the margin of error is much higher in the Champions League. You're playing better teams, and you're not able to make mistakes and make up for it later in the season. So that's the way it is for me. It's very clear.
Okay, since we're talking about that, let's quickly knock that one out and get it out of our system. If you are in the chat, let us know whether you think winning the Champions League is easier, or do you think winning the Premier League is easier? Tobago, let's bring you in regarding that comment, so we just knock it out and be sure and get done with it. What do you think? Which do you think is easier to win?
I think Premier League is easier because the Champions League, as Eric Blue said, it's not easy because every time it's tough. And then also, I think in order to win the Champions League, you have to be solid in the defense. That's like last season. We're so solid in the backs so that the other teams were struggling to score against us. So I think now the factor that cost us this 2 legs is just our defense is no longer that solid. But anyway, we move on. Also, I would like to thank the boys yesterday. They gave it their all. They gave it their all. Unfortunately, it was not our night. We move on. Hopefully, our potential owners can see where Thomas Tuchel need to strengthen his squad, and then so that maybe we might avoid such comments. But I think the Premier winning the Champions League, it's not easy. It's not easy, man. Look at yesterday, Villarreal knocked out Bayern Munich. No one would have said that from the start when they saw that draw. They would say Bayern's gonna win 8-0 and stuff. But this is Champions League. If your defense is solid, you're good, man.
Eric, can we just let's just say the truth here, because no matter we're proud of the performance from our team, but the truth is we have to look at things and say, okay, where did we go wrong? What happened? Why? Because we have no business losing that game after being we were 3-0 up, right?
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, when you're playing at the Bernabeu, I never expected a clean sheet. I just didn't. So obviously
Then
conceding two
okay,
is not.
let's say, can we say this? Then Barcelona beat them 4-0 in that same ground.
Yes, but that wasn't a Champions League game. It's a little bit different. You can't directly compare those two things. I mean, when Chelsea won the Champions League, we lost to Villa 2-1, didn't we?
Mhm.
And not too long before that, we lost 5-2 to West Brom. So sometimes league football cannot necessarily be directly compared with what happens in the Champions League. The teams always turn up for the Champions League, so it's not easy to just directly compare.
But the truth remains
Yeah,
I mean, had we paid attention, because before during the pregame show, we talked about the importance of balance, finding the balance between try to score goals and then not to concede. Believe me, I'd argue to tomorrow if we had. I'm not saying I love Thomas Tuchel and I love the fact that we attacked throughout the game. Had it been Jose Mourinho, he would have found a way to finish that game without conceding, having scored 3 goals first.
yeah, exactly. So we just conceded too many goals. You can't concede 5 goals and expect to, it's just not ideal. And for a team like Chelsea, who are, the defense is something. If there's one thing that Chelsea does right under Tuchel is defending. So that is very uncharacteristic of our team. So it just is what it is. We have to defend better next time, and we have to just lick our wounds and dust ourselves down. And we still have a cup to play for. We still have the FA Cup. So we need to beat Crystal Palace and we need to get to the final and we need to try to win the FA Cup. Hopefully that game between Liverpool and Man City drains them. Hopefully it goes to 120 minutes and they are exhausted before they play us. So hopefully if we beat Crystal Palace. But I just wanted to
go ahead.
I just
Go
wanted
ahead,
to
brother.
respond to a comment I saw in the comment section. So somebody says you have 6 group games, 3-2 leg ties in knockouts, in the finals. So he's saying that there's only margin of error in the final, so quarterfinal onwards. I don't think that's right. That doesn't, how can you say that there's more margin? How can you say there's less margin for error in a 38 game season than there is in a cup competition? That doesn't make any sense. So True Blue. I'm not sure what you mean there. I'm not really following, but it is a fact that the margin for error in the competition called the Champions League is higher because you're not playing teams like, no disrespect to them, you're not playing Watford in the Champions League. You're not playing. Yes, there are weaker teams. Everybody knows that, but there's no team like Watford in the Champions League. There's no team like Norwich in the Champions League. So let's not pretend as if you can directly compare and say that somehow the margin of error is
can I
more.
come in, coach? I have to say this.
You talked to Nick. Eric was the one talking, so you talk to him if he allows you to come
Nick,
in.
please go ahead, Nick. Go ahead, please.
Yeah,
Go
look,
ahead,
Eric, I understand what you're saying. Of course, the Champions League is difficult to win because we're playing all the best teams in Europe. But look, I have to mention this: the Premiership is a long struggle, very long struggle. It's not, 6 rounds. You win your group, you go to the quarterfinal or semi-final. It's different. The Premiership is hard because you have to play every single team in the Premiership twice, and that shows the best team in England. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
fair.
one thing.
I think if you ask me, Nick, Nick, can I come in?
Wait, let me finish. Coach.
All right, go ahead.
Last year we won the Champions League, but who was the best team in England?
The best team in England was Man City.
Yeah, because they won the Premiership and we won the Champions League. So you can't compare the two.
No, but that's a different argument. That's a different argument. I'm not talking about
look,
that.
if you ask most of the pundits, ex-football players, the ones who play in the Premiership, they're going to tell you it's harder to win that than the Champions League. That's why I'm saying you cannot go and ask every single one of them they're going to say what I'm saying to you now.
Does it mean they're all right? And if you ask all of them which they would prefer to win, maybe a lot of them would say Premier League, but especially the foreign ex players, they would say they want to win the Champions League.
Yeah, look, I'm talking about the players who are playing in both competitions. Go, we have to have a survey and find out what they think.
Yeah, I don't mean to come across as
No,
rude or
you're
anything,
not.
but
No, I understand
I
your
think
point.
yeah,
I
I think
understand your point, but my
yeah.
my point is,
Mm.
Man City won the league and they won. They were the best team. We won the
Yeah.
World Club Cup,
Mm.
world
All right.
champions, but it
Yeah.
doesn't mean we're the best team.
Yeah.
That's
All
what I'm
right,
saying.
I think let's just put down to bed and talk about the game at hand. So I wanted to ask you. Let's address this question on the screen before I ask the question I had for you, Eric, because we wanted to find out from a positive perspective. What did we learn about Chelsea? But we come to that in a bit. This question from Tobacco says, I wanted to ask the panel why Alonso goal was not allowed. Isn't it similar to Leicester City's goal they scored against us in the FA Cup final? Your response, Nick, Eric.
Yeah, I think
All right, go on.
Let Eric go. I'll come back to you, Nick. Go ahead,
I
Eric.
think I don't know 100%, but I think the law might have changed since then. So since the FA Cup final last season, I think the law might have changed. So now I think it's because I think it was Jose Perez. Jose Perez wasn't the one who scored; it was Tielemans who scored.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that has something to do with it, but I think now in the build-up, even if you're not the one who scores, if the ball touches the hand of any of the players in the opposition team before the goal is scored, it is just ruled out automatically. They always rule it out now, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, it wasn't even clear that the ball touched Alonso's hand, if I'm being honest. I don't think that was obvious to me. And
It
that
was not obvious because the ball didn't move. The trajectory didn't change, so it didn't look like his hand touched it.
Yeah, it didn't look at all. And the angle I saw it at was not. It didn't look right to me. It looked a bit dodgy. So I have to be honest. But yeah, that's the law. You can argue about obviously if the law makes sense or not. If it's a stupid law, but according to the law, and if obviously the ball actually touched his hand, then the right decision was made. But
It wasn't. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, it's amusing to me that was scrutinized to the nth degree, and it was ruled out. But then when Havertz ran into the box and was tackled, the person, the player who tackled him didn't even get the ball. He made contact with Havertz, and then Courtois touched the ball. That wasn't reviewed apparently, and that wasn't a penalty. But obviously, with things like this, they look at degree of contact with a penalty. But even if you just graze, even if your hand just grazes the ball, it's enough to say it's a handball. It doesn't matter if there's a lot of force on the ball. So I guess that's the reason why they might say, the one on Havertz wasn't a penalty, but then Alonso just brushing the ball is a handball. So it just is what it is.
Yeah, again, you could argue it's one of those kind of situations where some referee would say it's nothing because he has the final say, if you ask me. But that's by the way, it's happened again. Tobago, you have the answer to your question. Nick, you want to say anything to that? Because I want to breeze through the chat before I ask the next question.
Yeah, I have to mention this. The law did change. Last year, they would have given a penalty because even Glenn Hoddle saw it very carefully, and he said he touched his hand, but he touched his hand when the ball was coming down. It was accidental, and the law is that shouldn't be disallowed. If you heard what the ex-referee said on the BT Sport, he said it clear that that's a goal, definite goal. The thing is, what happened? We're playing in the Bernabeu against Real Madrid. And even Tuchel said it, no way they will give us that decision because it's Real Madrid. We had it with Liverpool so much. Now we have it with Real Madrid because they're just spies against us. No way they're going to, give that goal because they want Real Madrid to win that game. That's the facts. So it's
Again,
not like
yeah.
that.
Again,
Yeah.
that's your. We are all individually. That's as individuals entitled to our opinions. Again, I just think that some referee would say wouldn't consider,
No. No one's going to give us
canceling,
a goal. Coach, no
disallowing the
one's
goal.
giving us a goal. No referee will give us a goal because he went to VAR, and that idiot who sits in his chair, and disallows the goal for no reason. That's
Okay.
ridiculous. That's why we lost this game. I'm telling you.
Okay, let me quickly breeze through the chat. I think some interesting comments here. My brother, Niger brother Olupo, I've read that before. Again, Ray Allen says first leg cost us. I think Eric alluded to that already. Overall, Real Madrid edge is, for me, they have the world-class players to decide the tie. Unlike us, we don't have that quality. Real Madrid always had the best players in the world. I think we have that quality too. We were just unlucky yesterday. I think the best team, didn't win if you didn't progress. If you ask me, again, that's my opinion, and you are entitled to your own opinion. Just Viola said, Real Madrid when Real Madrid are in transition, we played brilliantly yesterday and deserved to win. Okay, she just said Real Madrid are in transition. Maybe I don't quite understand his comment. I see. Okay. This says Tribble said Havertz poor header, J5 poor finish. If you want to start blaming people, it is what it is. Proud and move on. And again, that is another good comment here. We just have to move on. But then again, we have to talk about it because there is quite a lot to learn. But we're not here primarily to blame our players. We're here to discuss the game. Okay, yes, I've read that. And also, Mendy should be benched for a while to enable him learn how to play with his legs and polish up his concentration and how to come out to help from crossing it into the 18 box. He's missing it all the time. Eric, I want to start with you. Again, this is not about blaming people because that I think you should. The goal Benzema had at the Bernabeu. If you ask me, we had the ball, and Mendy wasted time on the ball too much. And then when he was pressured, he booted it out to a throw-in. That was how Real Madrid turned and started coming at us again. And then they got the opportunity to get the goal. Here's what I want to say. My argument is this: I think Thomas Tuchel has handled the Mendy Kepa Arrizabalaga situation so much. I think even whether you like it or not, Mendy subconsciously could be, let me just use the word, could be taking things for granted because he's not, his place is not under threat. And as humans, often at times when that happens, you start taking things for granted even without knowing it. So my argument is, I think he should make clear to him, if you underperform, you drop into the bench. It doesn't matter if we say you are the number one, because the truth is, what's his name? Kepa Arrizabalaga deserves to be number one too, and he's good enough to be the number one goalkeeper. Your thoughts, Eric? Let's talk about it. Since James or Felix, who's in the chat, made this comment, and this is an interactive show. I want to get your thoughts. And before I go to Eric, please, if you haven't, take a second to smash that like button. We have about 66 people watching. A while ago, it was about 70 people. So we should have at least 50 likes. Do that, please, so the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and the stream will be pushed to more people. And also, if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel to help us grow. Eric, your thoughts? Let's address this comment on the screen.
Right. Where do I start with this? I think Mendy has been poor recently, but is it enough to say that he should be benched? I don't think so. I don't agree with that. I think...
Why, Eric? I don't want to come across as while we're fighting. We're having a civilized argument here. But tell me why you don't think he should be benched. Since the game against West Ham United, he's averaging one mistake per game.
Right.
And here's my argument. Let me go back a bit. Because this is, again, we're talking about this because some James Felix, who's in the chat, talked, and this is somewhat aligned to the discussion. First of all, he shouldn't have come back. That is, after coming back from AFCON and joining the club for the Club World Cup competition, Kepa Arrizabalaga shouldn't have dropped to the bench for Mendy to start. That's one. Secondly, as if that wasn't enough, FA Cup or the Carabao Cup that Kepa has been the goalkeeper from the start to that point, and you dropped him again in the final to start Mendy. That sends the wrong message, and that crushes the confidence of what's his name, Kepa Arrizabalaga, and that because Mendy is a human being, subconsciously could start feeling like, okay, my place is not on the thread here. He needs to understand that he has a competition. If he underperforms, he drops to the bench. That would do him a world of good. Your thoughts, Eric?
Yeah, I have to disagree with a lot of what you said there.
Go
Because
ahead.
for me, Mendy doesn't need to. Yes, what you're saying is 100%, and that's what I agree with the most from what you said. He needs more competition, but I don't believe Kepa is that competition for Mendy. I don't think Kepa is good enough to be, competing with Mendy and taking his spots. That's just my opinion, and
Mhm.
I think there's enough to suggest that it's fair to say that. And that's part of why you can say Mendy doesn't feel like he's under enough pressure. But I think, if Mendy didn't realize, he should, because even if the number two is Kepa and you're the number one right
Mhm.
now, he should
Mhm.
look at Kepa's example, because Kepa was the number one at one point, you know, and then what happens? He gets replaced because he's not good enough, and now he's a
But
squad
here's the
player.
thing, just quickly. Here's the thing. You made a very, very powerful point there. He should look at Kepa's situation and learn from Kepa's situation that the fact that Kepa was the number one. But the way Thomas Tuchel has handled it, I don't think he'd be concerned about losing his place at all. But go ahead, brother.
You're right, and he wouldn't, because Kepa, in terms of 90 minutes, Kepa isn't good enough to compete with Mendy. For me, he's just not good enough. And in terms of playing him in the Club World Cup final, I think that was the right decision. I'm not trying to blame Kepa for us losing to Leicester in the FA Cup final,
Mm-hmm.
but after the game, Tielemans said that he knows that Kepa is vulnerable with long shots. He said that he was told to try and shoot from distance because Kepa was in goal. So, Kepa is not our best keeper in 90 minutes. He's not. Which is why, when we're in a semi-final, when we're in a final, I want my best players on the pitch. So I think it was the right decision for Mendy to play. However, that affects the morale of Kepa or his mentality. I mean, if you're playing for Chelsea Football Club, then and being subbed off because you're the number two for a final or a semi-final,
Mm-hmm.
if that
Mm-hmm.
affects your mentality, then maybe Chelsea is not the level for you. Maybe you should be in a different club. That's my opinion with that one. So I don't think that should be a major factor for Kepa's confidence. And obviously he's helped us in the past, but the reality is that when you're the number two, you can't be too surprised if you're dropped for a final for a major game. It's just normal, and Kepa
Mm-hmm.
understands that. But in terms of Mendy being complacent, probably maybe that's a fair point. But the two reasons why I think I wouldn't do that is obviously number one, Kepa isn't good enough for me long term. He can't replace Mendy because Mendy needs to be dropped or something like this. I can't see that. And then the second thing is I don't believe this is something that we should be concerned about too much. I mean, okay, he's been averaging one mistake a game. For how many games has it been since that was the case?
From
People,
the West Ham game. And again, you can argue every. That's why I like to have you on the panel. I think you give responses that trigger me, and that's good. And your arguments, you back them up with some points that is worth considering. Here's the thing, brother. From after the West Ham game, two bad mistakes. And again, that's when it started. We've been
yeah.
lucky in a few games that the opponents didn't take the chances. Some of which he
Mm.
just gave them the ball, and he's actually out of the box with a fine shooter. We could have considered at least four more goals than we have from Mendes' mistakes. You should go. Yeah, I know you're well aware of that, but I get your point. Go ahead, brother. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, I mean you're right. But for me, even if I want to drop Mendy, I don't have enough confidence in Kepa. Okay, for example, the game in the FA Cup, would I play Kepa or would I play Mendy? I would play Mendy because it's a semi-final, and yes, he was poor in the first leg of the Champions League, but I think he had a good game in the second leg. People might disagree with that, but I think he had a good game. He didn't really make any mistake. Maybe he could have done this or that for one or two of the goals, but like I said before, maybe he needs to make himself bigger in the box because he's not small. He's quite a large keeper, so you expect him to have the presence in the box, which recently he hasn't had, and with the crosses as well. He usually when he was last season when he was signed, he was fantastic with the crosses. He never got exposed from those kind of situations, but he's just having poor form, and it's normal. People have that. You don't play amazing for all the time. Sometimes you dip in form, but I just don't think Kepa offers enough in 90 minutes. And the fact that we have to bring Kepa on, in the League Cup final because we went to penalties is, for me, it's embarrassing because your number one keeper should be, obviously that says something about Mendy because Mendy should be better on penalties, but you shouldn't be subbing off your number one keeper for the keeper that was supposed to be your number one, who happens to also be the record signing for any goalkeeper, and then bring him off the bench. It's like it just doesn't look good. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. You bring on the record keeper who was supposed to be your number one because your number one now can't take penalties, and you take him off and it doesn't work, and then you're just left wondering why things were not handled in a better way. So for me, the whole situation is just bad. Kepa needs to leave because even if you want to say he's good enough to be a squad player, he's not on the wages of a squad player. His wages mean that he should be the starting player. If you're the number one for Chelsea, these are the wages you get paid. What Kepa is getting paid right now. So unfortunately for Kepa, it just didn't work out for him, and I just can't see him being the number one in the field. Like maybe you disagree, but going forward,
I don't disagree. I don't want him to stay at Chelsea actually either. I think he'd be looking to leave because he wants to go to the World Cup too. But that's by the way, I get your point clearly, brother. Yeah. Go ahead if you're not true, because I want to bring Michael in. This is his first time on Chelsea Perspective. Go ahead, brother.
I mean, I'm done, but the point I'm making is just to conclude it.
Yes, brother.
Probably deserves to get dropped. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but Kepa just doesn't, inspire confidence.
Caught it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's a brilliant response from you, as usual.
Let me talk about the Kepa situation.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, look, mostly I agree with Eric. What he said is completely... He's right about that. We can't drop Mendy. I know Matt's here, the Kepa boy. I love Kepa. I don't say I don't like him. He's a great goalkeeper. But Mendy is miles ahead of him, I'm afraid. And we can't risk playing Kepa in the final. He won't be. He'll be Mendy in the final because he's our best goalkeeper for the time being. Kepa, he done great in the the League Cup final, League Cup games, building up to the final. I wanted him to start that final because he deserved it, but Tuchel decided otherwise, differently. But yeah, he deserves more games, yes. But when it's a big game, and now this FA Cup means everything for our season. So we can't afford to win the semi-final. We have to win the semi-final first. And it doesn't matter, Liverpool or City, we have to win that final. Otherwise, our season is gone and it's been terrible.
Okay.
It's going to be a wasted season.
Yeah, we will come to that. And Nika, I think you make a good point. We need to win that one. Nick, can I go to Michael now? He's waited for almost 10 years on the panel.
Yeah, go to Michael, yeah.
All right, thank you. Michael, welcome to Chelsea Perspective. How are you doing, brother?
Oh, there we go. Thank you for having me on. Thanks for inviting me. I'm doing well. I mean, it's sunny here in Finland for once and a blue moon, I must say. It's never sunny here, but thank you for having me on.
Yeah, and more importantly, more thanks to you. You told me how busy you were. I must recognize that it's never easy to leave what you're doing to join the panel here because bills don't pay themselves. And what we do here is practically a pro bono job, but we enjoy doing it. And quickly, we have 115 people watching, and we have just 34 likes. We should at least have 100 likes. So if you haven't, please make sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And the Blue Morning Show is a daily show here on Chelsea Perspective. Starts 11 a.m. UK every day. So, Michael, your thoughts on the Mendy argument? I want to round off that Mendy argument so that we can go. At least Matt must talk about Mendy argument. He will start a fight with me. Michael, your thoughts on the Mendy argument? Yeah, I'm sure you heard everything everybody said.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mendy's made a lot of mistakes in the last couple of games. Not like a lot, but crucial mistakes to Chelsea, because if these are obviously ifs and buts, but if he didn't make that mistake in the first leg, you could argue Chelsea would have been through, but that's obviously ifs and buts. Now, I like Eric's point that he said that Tielemans aimed at the top corner against Kepa, I think it was, and that is very true. Kepa isn't the greatest at long-distance shots, and this is something that Thomas Tuchel needs to, think about for the future. Does he want to keep playing Mendy and rely on him, who's been very, very obviously crucial to Chelsea's success in the last couple of years? Or is he going to go back to Kepa and see if he can revitalize his career? Because we know Kepa is very good on the feet compared to Mendy, who is not the greatest with the ball at his feet. I like both keepers. I really do like Edouard Mendy. I think he's a fantastic story, and where he has come from and now what he's doing with Chelsea. So I think you just have to keep going with him, and eventually he'll get over the mistakes.
How about the fact of how I think you could say Thomas Tuchel, how he's handled selecting both goalkeepers? Don't you think that he's inadvertently, if you want to, phrase it that way, sending the message to Mendy, you're undroppable? Because we're humans.
Yep.
When such happens, people do take things for granted. Don't you think that is not a good idea? And Mendy's not going to be fit forever, and that leaves the room for Kepa not to be, not to give 100%. It should Mendy get injured. Yes, I agree. Mendy is the number one goalkeeper, but we should risk taking that is making him take things for granted. Michael, your thoughts on that, on how Thomas Tuchel has handled the selection of both players?
Well, I kind of compare it because I need to let everybody know in the chat and obviously here on the panel that I'm actually a Liverpool fan.
One second. David, I'm going to take you off. Please go put the shirt on so I don't get into trouble. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, I was going to say that to everybody in the panel in the chat that I'm actually a Liverpool fan. So I kind of compare this to where Klopp is. Obviously,
yeah, that was why I wanted you here, because we'll get a neutral fans a perspective in this case. Go ahead, Michael.
That we know Alisson is number one at Liverpool, and obviously Kelleher and Kepa, there's no comparison. Obviously Kepa, I think, is a better goalkeeper, even though Kelleher is a very promising young goalkeeper, and he's used him very well. Obviously, playing him only in cup competitions, which has worked to his benefit. But I feel like Kepa, because he wants to be a number one starter for Spain at the World Cup, and he needs to get a lot of game time. So maybe Kepa's going to be thinking about next season: should I go out on loan, or do I need to talk to Thomas Tuchel? And because how many games has Kepa played this season? Not a whole lot. Obviously, Mendy was gone for AFCON, but other than that, it's been only cup competitions, right?
Yeah, and Mendy. And listen, let me remind you something. Maybe because you're a neutral fan, you probably didn't pay attention to it. We started the Club World Cup with Kepa Arrizabalaga, and he was the sole reason why, if you ask me, we progressed to the final of that competition. If it weren't for his brilliance, we wouldn't even make it to the final. And then Mendy returns from AFCON, joins the camp, and starts in the final. And it's as if that wasn't enough, we had the cup final with you guys, and Kepa got dropped to the bench again, and then Mendy starts. But go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Kepa, if that happens to me, I would be, as a player, mentally not into it anymore. Because I did all the grind, all the hard work to get to the final, and then you're just going to downgrade me. That's not fair compared to, for all the work that I did, and then you're just not going to acknowledge it whatsoever. So I can understand Kepa's fury at that if he's not played in the games, in the final especially. And look, I don't understand why he didn't play in the Club World Cup final, considering that Kepa really did save Chelsea at times in the second half against Al Hilal. But I don't understand Thomas Tuchel's theory with it, but maybe he just said, okay, it's an important game and I trust Mendy more. There's clearly a trust factor when it comes to Mendy and Kepa when it comes to Thomas Tuchel.
Excuse.
Yeah, go ahead if you want to. Matt, can I let him in? It looks like he's in a hurry to say something. All right, go ahead.
Madrid deserve to win.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because Benzema will win every game.
Okay. Is that what you're here to say?
And also, I want Madrid to win this season in the UCL and win the Champions League.
Why do you want Madrid to win?
Because they've played better than Chelsea. Benzema did the head. He's a very good player, and I love him so much. No one's better than Benzema. Rudiger needs to leave. Mount needs to leave. Thomas Tuchel needs to win and get.
All
Yeah,
right,
please. I was just
man,
about to say,
coming to
get this
you.
guy off.
Yeah,
Bro.
go
Oh
ahead.
my god! I don't know if he was a troll or he's just genuinely not there in the head, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, the point of Mendy and Kepa is that Mendy is genuinely just not in the right mindset. I mean, if this was any other keeper, they would have been not dropped; they would have been rotated. That's a word Chelsea fans don't want to use it with Kepa. Kepa comes in, as you said, Coach. We've been talking for like the last 6 months about this. Like, he played in the final Club World Cup. He comes in and he doesn't deserve to play in the final, which for me is very disrespectful. And for him to come in the UCL, I was not for that. I think Mendy should have started the UCL, but coming in for these games like Brentford and coming in for these games, who was it? Southampton. We could have rested Mendy to then give Kepa a chance and then give Mendy a little rest, but we didn't. And for that, the consequence was that Mendy made a lot of mistakes. And even yesterday, he wasn't major mistakes. It was very minor. Like, he could have possibly, but again, that's if buts possibly. I don't go off that shit. I go off probability. If Kepa was in there, there's no idea what would have happened. But going forward now, Kepa needs to start FA Cup semi-final. There's no doubt about that. Like, it's a must-win game. And Mendy is just not there. And we've got a person like Kepa on the bench who can come in and play to the same standards as Mendy. I'm not saying Kepa's coming here to replace Mendy. He's coming here to rotate with Mendy. Kepa is, if not just a bit below than Mendy, he can come up to these standards and play as Mendy. Because Mendy, like it or not, he hasn't been in form lately. And Kepa can come in and fix that for a little bit. So, yeah, FA Cup semi-final, man, that's a must-start.
Coach, let me ask Matt something. Great points, man. I agree with you a lot there. Yeah, of course he should have played in the League Cup final. He got us there. The man, you could see, in his face when he came on, he felt sick because he should have started that game. Tuchel got it wrong. I don't know why, he chose Mendy, to come in that final after he's been away, playing in the African Nations Cup.
I mean,
But,
can you say, hold on, sorry.
Wait a minute, Coach.
Okay.
Yeah, but look, I would love to see Kepa on Sunday in goal. I would love that. He deserves it. Put him in the semi-final and then let Mendy have a little rest mentally. And let's see, if we get to the final, then Tuchel can choose. But I will give Kepa a start on Sunday, for sure.
Can I just respond to what you said? You said Tuchel got it wrong to start Mendy.
Yeah.
And I think
in the League Cup final.
I think Tuchel said himself that in the League Cup final.
Yes, I'm talking about when Kepa came on afterwards for the penalties, and it was too late. It was too late because the guy was mentally hurt.
I think he deserved to start. I think he definitely deserved to start. But just because he doesn't start doesn't mean he didn't deserve to start.
Just to round off the Mendy argument, let me ask you this, Eric.
Wait a minute,
and I think Nick, go ahead.
1 minute, Eric. Do you think Kepa deserves to start on Sunday?
No, because there's nothing to go off with that. He's just starting because Mendy isn't playing well right now. That's the logic, isn't it? So
isn't that what a rotational keeper does?
Yeah, but
he should have the chance. He hasn't played for a while.
That's fine. That's fine.
Him a chance.
That's fair. But then, are you underestimating Crystal Palace?
No, exactly.
I'm not. But
I'm very scared of him.
No, we're not talking about Palace. We're talking about Kepa and Mendy. I just think
no, but he would start against Palace in the FA Cup. Kepa.
You think that's what I'm asking you?
That's why I mentioned Crystal Palace.
Okay, I think we should quickly get done with the Mendy so that we can move on. But go ahead, Nick, if you're still talking, I was going to ask Eric something. And again, but quickly, I want to say, we should, smash the like button, people. Let's shoot for 100 likes. We have 100 plus 15 people watching, and we still have 42 likes. We should at least shoot for 100 likes, and I know we can do that. And I want to say, if you haven't, please make sure to go check Almighty Blues, a great channel, great content, always objective. And again, on the panel, as you can see, we have Matt here. Matt from Zivoli. He started a new YouTube channel. I think you should go check out his YouTube channel. Great content also, and I believe you will like it. I wanted to ask Eric Blue something, if you guys don't mind.
Let me finish my point, Coach. Yeah,
Go ahead, Nick.
Look, me, like I said, I love him to play in the final on Sunday, and if it goes to penalties, we have the best penalty saver in the league. So start Kepa, give him a chance, make him happy. That's what I say.
And also the fact that he deserves to be in there. Imagine, you just live in the perspective. Me as a football player, if I did all that work and then I didn't get into the final, I would genuinely leave the club. And I'm surprised he's not disappointed in Tuchel, and he hasn't came out and said anything. Luckily, he's a very professional guy. So it's not, I wouldn't say the word healthy, but it's not mentally, ethically right to not start Kepa next game, because when Mendy's in the downfall like this, and it's not just Mendy who shouldn't be starting next game, it should be a couple other people. But we can easily rotate Mendy with Kepa, because Kepa can play these games. It's not like he can't. Let's compare keepers from Guaita and Kepa. Kepa's a better keeper than Guaita. Kepa is still a better keeper on that pitch than the other keeper.
Yeah, great input right
I
there.
agree, Matt. I agree a lot. And Kepa, he can pass the ball better outside the box. His passing is better. Mendy does.
Nick,
how many times he's passed back?
I think Coach Ella wanted to move on with.
Yes, please. Let me quickly ask this question for Eric Blue, and then we can move on to something else. Eric, the question I wanted to ask you: if you were Thomas Tuchel and you started Kepa, you started Edouard Mendy in the Carabao Cup final against Real Madrid, would you even decide after dropping Kepa in the Club World Cup final and dropping him in that final? Would you even risk bringing him on for the penalties, given the fact that he's a human being, and probably dropping him for the second time in a cup final that he probably thought he would? That is, he warrants to start. That is, by merit, he should be starting. Would you even risk bringing him on for penalties?
I have a lot to say, so I'm going to try to be as quick as I can and concise. So we already saw what happened last season. I'm going to repeat what I said before. Kepa was the cup keeper. That's what Tuchel said. He's the cup keeper. He played all the cups. He played in the FA Cup all the games. Played the final. We lost, and we know why we lost. Okay, say whatever you want about that. I believe Tuchel got that.
No way. That's
everybody has their own argument on why we lost that game. But go ahead.
Yeah, we can quickly go into that. Yeah, so we lost. The truth is we lost. Okay, and I can't help but thinking, if we had our best keeper there, maybe we wouldn't have lost. But we move on from that. Okay, Kepa started. He deserves to start. But when you're the number 2 keeper, you cannot tell me that you deserve to start a final or a semi-final if you're not the number 1. It just doesn't work like that. The best players play the most important games. This is the business end of the season. This FA Cup is the last trophy we can win this season. So I wouldn't start Kepa based on that. Yes, Mendy is not in form, but Mendy is better than Kepa, and you have to play your big players in the big games. That's the way I think of with that one. So I would start Kepa if I was Tuchel. I wouldn't start Kepa. I would start Mendy if I was Tuchel, and maybe I would play Kepa in some of the remaining league matches before the season ends. That's what I would do personally. So
okay, so let me ask you the question regarding the Carabao Cup final. If you then start him, would you risk bringing him on for penalties?
Yes, okay, that's the next one. Yeah,
as for me, I wouldn't, but go ahead.
Yeah. So this happened. I remember when Matt was talking about this the last time, and I couldn't help but thinking, as much as I agreed that Kepa should come on for penalties, I get the whole idea that, he wasn't in the best mood. He probably should have started the game. So in his mind, he's like, I'm only coming on for penalties when I should have started. Maybe it affected him mentally. But it also doesn't look good to me when your number 1 keeper comes off for penalties. It just doesn't have the right look. So for me, you either start Kepa at the start and it goes, win or loss, we just use Kepa till the end of the game, or you start Mendy and you just keep Mendy there. I don't want any subbing of keepers anymore. I'm tired of that. I don't think we should be doing that anymore. So if Mendy starts, Mendy should be on penalties, even though he's not as good as Kepa. And if Kepa starts, Kepa should start and stay till the end. That's what I think. So for the final, I wouldn't start Kepa because obviously, hopefully we win in 90 minutes. Hopefully it doesn't go to penalties. But if it gets to penalties, I wouldn't sub off Mendy anymore. I don't think that's a good look.
Yep, it doesn't. It's not a good look. And again, it means you don't trust him. And Kepa also will be feeling like, okay, you only need me when games go to penalties. And again, I think it's, but I would say, I would still argue whenever you ask me this question that Thomas Tuchel hasn't handled that very well. I love him, but the way he has treated Kepa Arrizabalaga, it isn't good for us because, now he'd be feeling so I'm only important whenever Eduardo Mendy isn't available again for whatever reason. But that's by the way. I get your argument, Matt. On a final thought, your thoughts? Would you drop? That is after dropping Kepa Arrizabalaga for that final. Would you bring him on for penalties?
Nah. I said that even last one. I didn't want him off penalties. It's just he's not. Keep it short and simple. He's not in the right mindset if he comes off for penalties.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Michael, I'm going to come to you. Welcome back to the panel. I hope I'm not holding you to ransom here.
No, you're not. Don't worry.
Okay. So quickly, and again, if you haven't, I urge you to go check Michael's channel. He covers football from, not just Liverpool. He's a Liverpool fan. And also every team he covers, he covered African Cup of Nations. He covers World Cup qualifiers and all that. Go check out his channel. I think you will love his content. But that's, by the way, let me quickly breeze through the chat, and then I'll ask the next question. And I think I'll start with Michael. Says, okay, that is my people in the chat. If there's anything to address here, let me see. Check need to train Mendy with his feet to check himself isn't the best in terms of footwork. I must let you know that, and I'm sure we're all aware of that. Hit the like button, says Josh Viola, one of the queens of the house. Please do so. We have just 47 likes, and we have about 91 people. We have 91 people watching, so we should have at least 100 likes, and we can do that. And we've gained a few subscribers today, but I want us to at least reach 100 subscribers today. We're at 1,222 subscribers. A few to reach to 1,300 subscribers. We can do it, people. Please share the stream. It says, whatever we do, please don't consider carries. Yeah, but that's a funny comment there. And I know that one we'll get to Michael. Okay, Eric Blue did not look good in the Super Cup. Okay, and no sentiment in football. No sentiment at all. But then again, Mendy's benching in the Club World Cup final and in the Carabao Cup final. You can say, I think, you can say starting Kepa Arrizabalaga will not be sentiment because he deserved to start. So I don't know why that should be called sentiment. Leave Mendy in. That's you. True Blue, it looked good because it worked in hindsight. Yep, that's it. Okay. Michael, Kachila, that is the price we will pay because we have two good goalkeepers. But to solve the problem is either we have to sell one. That's the problem. I don't want us to have backup and start. I want us to have two people who can start games, and then whoever is in better shape starts. And again, I don't know how it's that is to phrase it. We've treated one like it's not even good enough to be at the club, and that's an issue. What happens if the other one gets injured? Then the other one might not be in a good mindset to perform. Yep, in hindsight, yes. Again, good argument there. So since Timo's done well in the last two games, does he deserve? Yeah. Again, he's showing up. We've solved the problem. It's not. I don't think it's a one-off thing. But if the moment you drop into the bench, that may reset the button, reset the whole thing again. He starts from the basics. Coming back to you, Michael, as a neutral fan, can you tell us what would you say that is from a positive perspective also is the best lesson learned from a Chelsea perspective?
Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
As a neutral fan, not being biased in any way, or what would you say is the best lesson learned from that is from a positive perspective, also from a Chelsea perspective? What would you say is the best thing learned? Because it's not all bad. Again, more positives than negatives in that game, in the outcome of that game.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Chelsea fans all over the world should be happy about the performance. I thought, to be honest, even in the first leg, okay, yes, the first half, I just thought Real Madrid were very clinical. But in the second half, I thought Chelsea created enough chances to even equalize the game. It's just, Lukaku was just Lukaku, and he couldn't finish his dinner in that game. It was unfortunate because I thought Chelsea could have easily made that game 3-3 with the chances they created. Then the second leg, I thought Chelsea were the better side by far. And it's just a little bit, I mean, just Modric's pass, there's nothing you can do about it. That's just world class. I mean, you can't stop that. I mean, that was inch perfect. You can try that pass maybe 100 times and 99 times he will fail it. But the one time he got it right, and it just cost Chelsea overall the game. And look, from a neutral's perspective, and, I have to big up Chelsea a lot. I mean, mentally, they were strong. Physically, they looked like the much better side. You have to give it up to Mason Mount. I thought he was excellent yesterday with his pressing. Even Ruben Loftus-Cheek coming into the side, he was excellent as well. The only problem is maybe defensively you weren't the most solid, and that's been showing in the last couple of games. Maybe not Southampton to a degree. I didn't watch the game, so I can't say fully. But I mean, Brentford was not the greatest defensively. Obviously, Real Madrid in the first leg. So that's one aspect that Thomas Tuchel, which he built on this Chelsea side, was defensively being strong. In the last couple of weeks, it's showing a little bit of cracks in the system. But overall, I think you guys should be very, very happy. And, you only have now FA Cup to play for, but I think Chelsea more than proved that they are still there with the top teams in Europe. No doubt about that. Obviously, defending Champions League winners and all of this. It's just a matter of what is going to be your front three for the future. That's the key thing. And who's going to be, because Thiago Silva can't play forever. As much as we all love him, he's 37 years old. And I think, did he play over the week? Did he start and play the full 90 against Southampton?
I think 65, 70.
Okay, yeah, see. I mean, that's a lot of minutes. That's a lot for a 37-year-old. I mean, I'm 26, and even if I play 90 minutes now, it's enough for me. I can't imagine when you're 37 years old. It must take a toll on the body, and it did show a little bit of fatigue in maybe the latter stages of the game yesterday. But overall, I think Chelsea should be very proud of their performance. And look, as a Liverpool fan, I'm happy that Chelsea are out because I did not want to face them in the final. I feel like Chelsea could have beaten us because Liverpool haven't beaten Chelsea since the 2-0 when Christensen got the red card. It's been that long. It's been almost 2 years, and I feel both teams are very 50-50. Just one aspect from yesterday's game as well. I feel like the subs definitely let you down. Jorginho, Saul, Pulisic, Ziyech, they made no impact in the game. I mean, Pulisic had a couple of chances, and I love the guy being half American.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a future at Chelsea anymore.
2 clear chances that he should put on his day. He should put away. But Michael, great input right there. And I think we're starting a new show here soon. I'm not gonna say what the name of the show is until we're ready. And I want you to be part of it because it involves panelists from all other clubs. And I think you make a good. You represent Liverpool real well there. Again, I like your sincerity in saying you didn't want to play us. I wouldn't want to play you guys either because it's been difficult to beat you guys. But that's by the way, Matt. Your thoughts on that's what stood out for you in terms from a positive perspective, regarding our team.
Positive perspective from Madrid
For us.
Wait.
For
Sorry.
Chelsea, what's it like? Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, you're talking about a positive aspect from the Madrid game? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't hear the question.
Positive. Yes, there are lots of positives to take. To you, what stood out in terms of how we performed? Looking to the future. Something like that.
I think looking at it as being a Chelsea fan. I mean, Raul fans said they were very proud of us. For me, I was very disappointed that we didn't keep the lead. I'm proud of how we scored 3 goals, and that's the only positive I can take is that we can score goals now. We can. We did it at Southampton. We scored 3. We scored 3 now. We scored 3 in Bernabeu as well. That's not easy to do. So, only positive I really take from this is that we can go into Palace, we can go into Arsenal, or whatever next big game we have, and I can have clarity that yes, we can score goals now. Because remember last year it used to be 1-0, and we should struggle to get shots. Now we still struggle, but it's not as bad. At least we're scoring more. So only positive I take from that is probably the scoreline. Other than that, I really didn't see any positives. I mean, individually, yes, there was some from probably Alonso. I think that was one of the best games he's had, really, 100 minutes, and the man's still sprinting and showing that he wants to win. However, there was, I would say, a bit more bad performances from someone like Loftus-Cheek, who I think got praised for his performance, which I thought was shocking. I think he was the worst player on that pitch, and I think he just shows that he is someone to go out. But however, looking on the positive side as well from a player like Werner, it kind of gives, hang on, maybe this man can stay in August. But again, he has to be performing like that oftenly because, oh my God, we don't see that enough.
Yeah, he has to do that
really
consistently. But there's hope. Go ahead. There's hope. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to finish up there. Nothing too positive take from that. Just something very minor, nothing major.
Again, that's you. In my opinion, I think there are signs that the future is bright for the club as long as we keep, you could say, majority of those players that played against Real Madrid. Kai Havertz consistently has showed that he's arrived. I think he's grown from strength to strength. He's improved in terms of physical aspect of the game, his commitment, his pressing. Mason Mount also has shown, he showed yesterday that on his day when he's mentally available, he's such an immense player for us because he pressed, and we pressed strategically, not just, we pressed, we didn't just press, we pressed with intelligence, and that was good to see. But I get your point, Matt. Eric and Nick Blue, can you guys just be patient with me? Let me just go through the chat quickly, if you don't mind. And again, we have Zam Umar. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. If not, my apologies to you. I think this is your first time also. And for those who are watching who hasn't liked the video, please do like the video. We've had around 115 people watching, and we have just 50 likes. I think we can do better than that. And if you haven't, please do subscribe to the channel. In my point, says Zamzi, in my point of view, Real Madrid played their Koreans from UCL, and the tie ended for the first leg. But we will bounce back. Yes, we will bounce back, and that's why we're Chelsea. And sorry if I mispronounced the word you meant to use. That I'm not sure. I haven't come across that word before. Kunde in the summer. That's a possibility that will happen. There's also a chance that we might not get him, but I hope we get him. Says Marina, better get Kunde in the summer. I hope she stays. That's the first and first. How many penalties did Mendy save versus Spurs in Carabao last season? And he was beaten with a shot from outside of the box. I think none of the goalkeepers, you can say, is perfect. They do have their deficiencies. Again, my argument is that Thomas Tuchel has handled the selection of both goalkeepers. One will feel like his place will never. That is, he's just the number one place is his forever, no matter how badly he does. Again, that's my argument. Chelsea played well, but luck, yeah, exactly, but lost the tie. We played well, but unfortunately for us, it wasn't going to happen. At least we were in disgrace. At least whenever Madrid will get paired with Madrid, they'd be concerned knowing that the boys in blue are in town because we're that good. Phrase, okay, yep, says, but can you beat Real Madrid? Of course, we did it last season, and we did it. We beat you guys, but over the 2 legs, you guys progress on aggregate, and we even played better, if you ask me. You cannot really, Sylvan X, I'm not sure. I think you missed some work there. Marina might not be around this summer. She might not be. She may well stay. If Roman really cares about the club, or the new owners I'm hearing, they're saying that they want to keep her because, again, her stay is important in terms of facilitating a smooth transition from the Roman Abramovich to the new owner. So it's important that she stays at least for a while. Real Madrid, okay, I think that's a troll there. Who's that? Says Fraser, true, he cannot play every game. Yep, he's not Benjamin Silva. Our main and only priority is now third place in the Premier League. We cannot afford to lose a point in the next Champions League, which, we should be interested in with World Cup in the middle. That's a good comment there by Boza Boz. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. We need 4 players to compete next year. a striker, a winger, and a DM. That's true. And Michael, do you think you can beat Real Madrid? Michael, unfortunately, has left the panel. Okay, let me see if we have anything else to address here. If not, I'll just go back to the panel. Amorfuma, so the man sounds like a Nigerian name. Timo Werner has been doing well. Yes, my brother, he's been doing well. I think 2 games in a row now, he's done quite well, and I hope he keeps that form going. Did I miss a comment here? Let me see. It says Chelsea's second goal was not even a corner. Okay, that must be a Madrid fan, so I'm going to skip that to this one. In a way, a recent Chilwell getting injured was a blessing in disguise. Our attackers stepped up in their absence. And again, we learned that what we've always had at the club, we have backups and we have starters, and that's an issue for me. We should have starters. Whenever we won yesterday, but the soccer lucky against us. I get the point. And True Blue, my point is should they have considered the West Ham winner? No, not at all. You could argue that. And Michael says, thanks for having me on. Do you think Chelsea should sell Pulisic? I will highlight this comment, and I think we should talk about it. So let me start with you, Nick. I hope you don't mind. Let me start with Nick Blue. I want to ask him a question.
Yeah, coach.
Okay. Eric, my question is that's the same question I asked Michael. What stood out for you in terms of our performance, and what do you think we should be glad it happened or it materialized, or from the things you saw on that day?
I think I'll agree with what Matt said. I think we're scoring more goals now. We're scoring more goals than last season in general, which is positive to see. But that's all I can say with regards to that. We know that the players turn up for these big games. We already know about that. You know, they won this trophy for a reason last season. It wasn't a fluke. And even if you want to make the arguments that we weren't the best team last season, we were the best team in the competition.
Yep.
And we won fair and square. That's the way I see it. So, the players deserved to, some of them deserved to progress. And because of, some individual mistakes, because of, not being solid enough at home, I feel as if the home match was too early for the players. Or maybe it just wasn't the right time. And they just were not their usual selves in terms of.
And then the international break and all those factors.
So it just is what it is, and the whole situation around the club and all that stuff. So I'm not trying to give the players excuses, but with all the context, taking everything into consideration, I think the players can hold their heads high. In terms of Loftus-Cheek, I think Matt was quite harsh towards Loftus-Cheek. I thought he had a good game. Could he have done more? Yes, but when you consider that this guy has barely played, obviously he started playing a lot this season, but that was mainly because of the injuries we had earlier on. So he actually had a lot of minutes, maybe more minutes than Tuchel was intending for him to have. But Loftus-Cheek in the position he is now, it's just sad that he won't be able to do what he could have done, or what we would expect for someone his age. At this point in his career, but there are reasons for it. We obviously know about the reasons, but maybe he needs to go out on loan again. But I think he had a good game in this match. I think he was good. Could he have been better? Yes. Could some other players have done better in certain scenarios? They obviously they could have. Maybe they should have. But it just is what it is. You can't just nitpick at the when you don't get the results you want. And I just wanted to quickly mention the comments I saw here. About Mendy conceding long shots. Mendy doesn't concede long shots in the same way Kepa does. I don't think we can directly compare those two situations. Like, we know the kind of long shots Kepa concedes, and it's just not the same kind of context. So let's not pretend as if it's the same thing, So that's it.
Yeah, and I don't know who this is. Abdinazal, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Before I can add you, at least even if you want to hide your camera, I want to see your face to be sure I don't get into trouble. If I see your face and you're okay, you're not naked, you have clothes on, and you're not a troll like somebody I blocked before, kicked out of the studio, then I will add you. You can then hide your camera. But that's why I can't add you if I'm not sure if you're even a human being. But that's, by the way, Just Viola says, this is Olupol responding to Just Viola saying the attack is stepping up to score goals when the season started. They seem not to be able to find the back of the net. Again, that's a huge, improvement from the issue we've had in the past. And this is, we should stop blaming players. What is done is done. We move on. Again, that's why we're here. We have to talk about it. There's always something to learn from it. And again, we're not specifically blaming players here. We're just, going through stuff. And because it's an interactive show, somebody in the chat asked the question. That's why we started talking about Mendy and others and something like that. For me, bringing Pulisic for Werner was not a good idea. Werner, I think, had to be changed. I think he had a knock. He was struggling actually to walk properly. If you followed the game again, and Robert Anderson, I think this is the first time I'm seeing you here. So if you haven't, please do make sure to subscribe to the channel and also like the video so that YouTube can push it to more people. Hit the like button, says TC, and also Just Viola. Okay, I think I've read that before. And this says RIC was instrumental in keeping Vinicius quiet mostly, but at the time he got tired. You must notice that if you have watched the game again. And Omofuma says, I think Pulisic should be loaned out. I don't think that will happen. And that's especially true if an American becomes the new owners, if Americans become the new owners of the club. But that's by the way. Nick, I'm going to come to you. What did you learn that gives you hope about the squad?
Yeah, I learned, well, I didn't learn because I knew when the real Chelsea comes out, they can beat anyone. And I knew that, I was saying that before, as you know. And everyone played well. And I can't blame Ruben. He tried his best. But the bad thing is he's not the same player that he was before that big injury he had. That big injury cost him, ability right now. And it shows still. That big injury, it put him down a lot. But, you can't blame, I don't blame him. He tried his best. Every player tried their best. And, I was wrong with Werner. The good points will come out for me. Alonso and Timo Werner, brilliant from both of them. I'm very proud, and I was wrong about Werner because I didn't want him to start, but he proved me wrong. He was at it yesterday, and I wouldn't be surprised if he starts in the final. I mean, in the semi. I wouldn't have anything against that. And people are, putting a lot of stick to Pulisic. They're saying he should have scored them 2 chances. All right, he could have scored. There weren't easy chances. He came on, he tried. There weren't easy chances. Far from easy. All right, maybe he should have had one. But that's an argument. But I can't see Chelsea selling Pulisic in the summer. Like some people think we're going to sell him. That won't happen unless Tuchel wants it to happen. And Pulisic is a great player. He's just unlucky with all the injuries he gets. And the main and the other points, Ruben, we said, Werner. It was just a bad luck we lost that game last night because of Rudiger slipped. Like Eric said, that was due to Benzema brilliance. I agree there with him. And we lost the game in the first leg. Don't forget that. We lost in the first leg. That was a bad performance. Even if we got a draw, imagine we'd be through now. So we didn't have a good game in the first leg. We were terrible at the back. Christensen mostly. I keep saying that, but it's true. And that's about it, really. I just hope we win this FA Cup now because that's all we have to win. We've won the Super League Cup. We won the World Club Cup. But it'd be great to win FA Cup. We need this badly now. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. And again, I want to take this opportunity before I come to you, Eric, and I hope you still have time. I don't want to keep you that long, but it's been the Blue Morning Show, which was designed to be 30 minutes, a 1 hour show. I know I sent you an inbox or a direct message about it, but given that we have quite a lot to talk about regarding the sale of the club, it usually lasts up to 3 hours, but whenever you want to leave, you're free to leave, my brother. But again, I appreciate your presence. I hope you still have time. I'll come back to you in a bit. I want to take this opportunity to let all the contestants that's been selected so far for the Roman Abramovich contest. We've changed the format. You don't have to be on camera. So if your problem is always the issue you've had with the whole process is that you're going to be on camera. So don't worry about it. You just have to write your tribute to Roman Abramovich. If you want to make it, for instance, if you if you survive the quarterfinal stage, survive the semifinal stage, and then if you make it to the final, you have to write 3 different attributes. They don't have to be the same. And again, we recognize there are some elements that must be in all of them for it to be about Roman Abramovich. But again, we'll update you on the format the moment we decide we get the 8, because we're still looking for one more contestant. Maybe we'll do that today, or maybe I decided to select an automatic participant, but I'll let you know. Eric, I'm going to come back to you. This question by Michael Talks Football, and again, people, if you're in the chat or wherever you're watching from, be sure to go check out Michael Talks Football YouTube channel. Great content as always. He covers global football, not just European football, and I think he knows what he's doing. Eric, please quickly, this comment on the screen if you want to address it.
I mean, I can address it in one word, and it's just a no. It's simple no.
If you want to, brother, if you want to, go ahead.
Yeah. So look, like I said before, there's time. The time to talk about transfers will come. There's time for that, to talk about who needs to get sold, who needs to get bought. Now is not the time for that. We need to focus on the FA Cup, and we need to make sure that we seal that 3rd spot and maybe close the gap to the teams ahead of us. So that's all I'm thinking about right now. I mean, the club is still in a position where we don't even know who the new owner is yet. So I don't want to talk about transfers at this point. I really don't. So, but for me, it's a bit too reactionary to just use this game and say, "Oh, Pulisic needs to get sold now." I think he needs one more season.
It happens every time he underperforms or misses chances. Yeah, go ahead.
And it's not just with him; it's with so many players. But for me, I understand people being discontent with him. I'm not going to pretend like, people are not within their rights to be upset and discontent with Pulisic. But I will say that he has one more season for me. If he doesn't do anything next season, if he doesn't improve or show any kind of similar level to what he showed in his first season for us, then we need to consider selling him. I'll say that.
Here's the thing. Selling him isn't that simple. That's the truth. Selling him isn't that simple because he's just. I'm going to say that again. I know I've heard Matisse argue that on CFC chat. I've heard quite a lot of people argue against that in other places. Again, the fact is, Pulisic he's more than just a footballer for Chelsea Football Club. He is business, and plus the kid is good too. All he needs is time. And we must look at those factors, or some of these factors. There's, cost him some setback at one point or the other. It's been one injury or the other. It's been the COVID period. COVID. I think he had COVID at one point. All these things come into play, and I think the club recognizes that he's such a talent. And we have a manager who gave him his first start at Borussia Dortmund, and who understands him very well. And look at Pulisic. I think a few games ago, he looked on fire. He was brilliant. So again, but my point is, Pulisic means he's just more than a footballer for Chelsea Football Club. He's business. Pulisic sold more shirts in the United States, more than Ronaldo this past year. I learned that from was it a VJ, and I had to research it and find out it is actually a truth. And you think the club would just let him go like that? No, I think he stays, and I think he will prove us all wrong. And I hope he does that. And Eric, I hopefully you still have time to be here with us. But if at any time you want to leave and you have any final thoughts, that's fine. I appreciate you staying for. I think.
Oop, what happened? I think he disconnected. Yeah, I was going to say that obviously I can hopefully stay a little bit longer on the stream. It's been a long time, so I want to make sure that I make it count when I'm here. So that's all I wanted to say there.
Yeah.
Sorry, what did you say? I missed you because I missed what you were saying because I was kicked
I
out.
don't know what happened. I was just saying that it's been a long time since the last time, so I want to make sure I stay as long as I can. I don't know if if we're almost done with the stream today, but I want to stay
we're
as
still
long as I
here.
can. Okay.
We're still here, and I think we'll talk more. But if you still have time, fine. If not, I understand, brother. But I appreciate you finding time. I recall the reason you haven't been coming as often as as I probably know you'll be willing to because it's your brother's channel. It's just because you're busy. Coming to you, Nick. Your thoughts?
Yeah. What about?
Sorry, Eric. Were you still saying something?
No, I wasn't. No.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. Look, Pulisic ain't going nowhere. Eric said, "Give him another year." I agree with that. I agree with that. He has to show us next season what he can really do, like we saw the early part of his career at Chelsea. He is a good player. He gets injured a lot. That's a problem. But, look at like you said, look at what he does for business. He's a well-beater of selling shirts in America.
Mm-hmm.
And, I like him personally. I think he's a great player. And I'm just waiting for him to get to that next level, show us a bit more. But I do trust in him. That's about Pulisic.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the question about Pulisic?
Yeah, do you think Chelsea will sell him? I don't. If you, Eric, have you answered that question? Actually, you said no, right? And I said no too.
Yeah, I said
and
no.
No.
Yeah, and I said also from a business perspective, the club wouldn't want to sell him. They'd rather tell Thomas Tuchel, look at the reason why this guy's here. But he's just more than that. He's good too. He's good too. On his day, he's a fine finisher. He was just unlucky yesterday, if you ask me. I don't know, probably because he didn't start the game. But go ahead, Nick. You were saying something.
Yeah, he was unlucky. There were hard chances.
Yeah, we can hear you breaking up, but I think we can still hear you.
Can you hear me now better? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had 2 chances. Come on, he tried his best to get that goal. They were hard chances. People are calling him because everyone said, "Oh, he should have scored. He should have." No, they were hard chances. You can't blame the player when he's trying.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. He would have been brilliant if he got one of them. But it wasn't meant to be that we didn't lose the game because of Pulisic. We lost the game, like I keep saying, because of that ref and VAR. That's why we lost. I don't blame any Chelsea player. They gave him everything, so I'm proud of them. I just hope we do the same on Sunday. We do that, we're through.
Yeah, I hope so. Eric, if you don't mind, can you change your name to your Twitter handle so that the audience can go follow you if they want to? And while you do that, I will quickly read the comments. Breeze through the comment section so that we see what people are saying. And if there's anything to address, we will do so. And I think I've read this. It's really turning into a blame fest in the chat. Yes, I've read this. But I've also read this. We can look at Pulisic, Havertz, and Jorginho misses yesterday. If we're going, if that's what we're here to do, but we're not scapegoating here. Pulisic and nearly moments. Yep, quite a few of them, but we're not going to blame him. The display in the second leg was unreal. I think we should be proud. That is another delicious comment here. We really should be proud. And before I continue, I want to say we have 59 likes. We should have at least 100 likes for today's stream, because at one point we have 115 people watching. Please, if you haven't, make sure to like the video so that your YouTube algorithm will be triggered and the stream will be pushed to more people who will be interested in this particular topic. Fraser Ziyech, the guy played weeks with a shoulder brace. Okay, that's an argument between those in the chat. Thanks, coach. The need time. Look at Kai. He's 22, and Kai has also proven that we were right to be patient with him, because some pundits after a few games for Chelsea Football Club wrote him off, and now he's proven to be the future for us, because the future looks bright with Kai, and hopefully he doesn't decide to leave Chelsea when he is at his peak. Good point there, TC. And we did well. I am so happy. Yes, I wasn't even mad. It's just yes, it's heartbreaking that we didn't win in two legs combined. But again, such happens. But it's a performance to be proud of, and a lot of positives like we've established here on the show. Back Tuchel, yes, they must do so. Yes, back Tuchel. Everybody's saying that. Big up again. Ed Quinlan says we could not get past the round of 16 for years. Then Tuchel came in, and look where we are today. Yes, I mean, we even, I think a good comment there. I think we should back him. And Ed Quinlan, I think this is the first time I see you here. Please do me a favor, like the video if you haven't, and also subscribe to the channel. Some comments here to take. Some of us are proud of our team. Others want to slate players for no reason. Good comment. I think we should just be proud and move on. Tuchel and Emery are very underrated managers. Great comment there. By the way, Arsenal will be going. That Arsenal should be saying that could have been us right now, because he did quite well against Bayern Munich. Steve Chelsea, I am really proud of them. Now we got to focus on the FA Cup and get the silverware, and we must be well prepared, because Vieira has proven he's such a tactical mind. Taking that game for granted will be a huge mistake. Even if our boy Conor Gallagher doesn't get to play, it's still a huge game. Let me quickly ask you this question, Eric. They've been asking, and even Patrick Vieira has argued that letting the kid play will be good for him. And I'd argue the same thing, that letting him play would be good for his development and experience, even if we're planning on bringing him back. We did that for Frank Lampard when he was the coach of what's the name of that club again?
Derby.
We had Derby County. We had two players in his team play against us. I don't think it will be wrong to do the same for Patrick Vieira. That would actually be a way of thanking him for the good job he's done with the kid. I think letting the kid play will be a good thing. It's not bad at all. Your thoughts?
Are you talking about Gallagher and
yeah, Conor Gallagher? Yeah,
right. I mean, I think Tuchel rates him. I think he has high estimations of him. I think we saw that in preseason. He got a few minutes, but I don't think if we want to bring him back to play in the pivots, that's a good idea. I don't think he can do that at a high enough level. I think we would need to change the formation for next season if we want to really get the best out of him. He would play in a similar position to Mount, or he would play in the midfield. I'm hoping that we change the formation and have a more balanced kind of formation with the personnel we have. So I hope we get a CDM, somebody who can be in a single pivot by themselves, and then a player like Mount and Gallagher ahead of that player in like a 4-3-3 formation. That is the ideal formation for me. That's my preferred formation. So I'm hoping we can transition to that. I think we've been playing a back three because it suits a lot of our players. That's why we're playing the formation we're playing now. But if you want to get the best out of Gallagher, I don't think we can bring him into play in the pivot. But I don't think Tuchel has anything, he wouldn't have any reason not to play young players. We've seen him rely on Chalupas
Yeah.
too many times.
But to answer that is the main part, the most important. You make a great point there. But I want to ask you: do you think it will be better off letting him play against us?
Right. Sorry, I didn't get what you said the first time. I understand now.
I
Okay.
think I phrased it. I over.
Yeah. I get it now.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that is ever a good idea, and Chelsea don't have a good history with that. When we let our players play against us, it doesn't end well for us. So
Mount and Tomori played against us when they played when they were playing for Derby.
Mm-hmm. So, and we managed to win that game, but it's never a good. In my opinion, it's never a good idea to let any of our academy products or any of our players on loan play against us, because you just never know. And Chelsea have a good academy. We have good players, so they can punish us. So, and we've seen history. We've seen a lot of examples of that. So, I wouldn't even consider, if I was Tuchel, I wouldn't even consider it at all. There's no reason. Tuchel wouldn't.
Well, how about prioritizing the development of the player? I mean, it will mean a lot to him. He will learn a lot from it.
Yeah, it would mean a lot, but I mean, for me, it's just it's more of an experience than. Well, it's more of an emotional thing, a sentimental thing than missing out on this one game means that all of a sudden his progression is hampered or something. I don't think this one game makes that much difference. And even though it would mean so much to him, it is what it is. He is a Chelsea player. I'm pretty sure if you asked him, would you prefer to play this game and potentially knock out your parents' club, Chelsea, and get to the final and maybe win that as well? Or would you prefer to miss out and then play for Chelsea and be a week in, week out, starter for Chelsea in the future? I'm pretty sure we know what he would choose. So I don't think it's that. It's not that deep. I don't think it's that.
So you're not in support of that idea at all?
No, even for these sentimental reasons, I don't. I just don't think that there's enough justification for it, and it's too risky because Conor Gallagher is a good player and he could easily punish us. So I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think great argument right there. Before I go to Nick Blue, please, if you're in the chat, if you haven't, and this is the first time I'm seeing B Kiprotich, if this is your first time here, please make sure to like the video. I think we're getting to 100 likes. We have 63 likes now. We're not further away from 100 likes. Please, if you haven't, smash the like button. If anybody asks you to pay, tell them I already paid for you. It takes just a second. And while you're at it, if you haven't, please be sure to subscribe to Chelsea Perspective. The Blue Morning Show is a daily show on Chelsea Perspective. Starts 11 a.m. UK, and it remains a marathon show until the sale of Chelsea Football Club is complete. And in a bit, we'll be switching topics. But Nick, coming to you, do you think we should allow Conor Gallagher play against us?
Well, they decided that already, so he's not playing.
Do you think we should have?
For Gallagher, I feel, like a bit sentimental. I like to see him play against us.
Oh, so now you and Eric Blue are against me now. Go ahead.
No, I said I like to see him play.
I'm but you said sentimental. Go ahead. That's where you align with Eric.
Yeah, for sentimental reasons, I love him to see us play. But on the other hand, I don't, I won't like him playing against us. I'm in two ways. It's hard to call this one. But, I wouldn't have anything against if he played. Like Tomori played against us with Derby and Mason Mount at Stamford Bridge. That was a good experience for them players. And it would have been for Gallagher, especially at Wembley. But I understand why they decided not to let him play.
Yeah, okay, good argument. Let me see what people in the chat think. They think 69% said no, only 31% said yes. I think people, probably for the reason that he adds, they know he's a quality player and he makes them better. So anything we can do to win counts. And let me quickly breeze through the chat and now ask the next question so we can switch to the update on the sale. Chelsea did their best. I'm proud of their performance despite the exit. Great comment right there, and I love that. Haruna Salim says the truth is even the Real Madrid kept winning Champions League. They never seemed like they would win, but they always find a way to win. That's the truth. That's what makes them the different. They have that edge. I think Eric alluded to that already. Good point there from Haruna Salim. And welcome to the channel. Please do feel at home and always express yourself. True Blue said plenty of scapegoating. Yep, that's the truth. Says that ref man. I wouldn't really say that. Was he perfect? No, but I wouldn't say he's corrupt. My brother Jose, as a fellow American, says, "Big up, bro. Big up to you. Too nice to see you here. I know I haven't seen you for a while. I hope everything is okay on your end." True Blue says, "It is the FA that changed the rule." Oh, okay, so even if we want to allow him to play, it wouldn't work. So it's not up to us. Thank you very much for that update, True Blue. I appreciate your input, and you're well valued here. Real Madrid got away with the candy once again. Are they underrated or simply extremely lucky? I think you could say that I think they're good. They're good enough. I wouldn't call it lucky. We were the better team on the night, but again, I think we didn't do everything right. We didn't really. We weren't. That is like we argued during the pregame show. We didn't. That is apply our approach with caution. We didn't find a good balance between defending and attacking. That's why I think you could argue probably the reason why we lost. So I wouldn't say they were lucky. They're good enough that if they get a chance, they put it away. And I think they're more clinical than we are. Okay, good to see you here. You provide value even though you're not a Chelsea fan. Real deserved first leg. Chelsea deserved second leg. Good comment there by Game King. Again, please, once again, I appeal to you, if you haven't, make sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. My brother Olupo says, allowing Gallagher to face Chelsea is like giving someone a gun to defend themselves and then telling them to shoot the owner. Yeah, that's a hilarious one, but it doesn't make sense indeed. Gallagher playing for Crystal Palace or not, Chelsea is winning the match. That's the truth. For our club's perspective, if he plays and does really well against us, then what? Good question. But that's by the way. So, Eric, the final question is this. In 3 consecutive games, we've considered, because we hardly concede more than 3 goals under Thomas Tuchel. But in 3 consecutive games, or let me say just up to 3 goals, let's just count how many goals we've conceded. We hardly concede goals under Thomas Tuchel. Let me just phrase it that way. Against Brentford, 4, we conceded 4. Against Real Madrid at home, we conceded 3, that's 7. And then against Real Madrid away, we conceded 2, that's 9. So what happened to our defense? We've been leaky of late. Do you see an issue there? I know you've argued before in terms of when I said Benzema, when I give Benzema scoring 2-headed goals against us within the span of 3 minutes at home, it was by design, it wasn't by accident. But the question is, considering 9 goals in how many games, do you see issues with that defense overall?
No, I don't actually. I think that the whole situation around the club just caught up with the players in the end. That Brentford game was very strange. Like Chelsea just don't play like that, and especially after the international break. I can't read into that too much. I just can't. And then the game against Madrid, another poor defensive performance. The fact that it's consistent is actually the evidence that I would use to suggest that it's not something that is normal. Like this is not what we normally see. So the fact that it's happening, more than one occasion, is showing me that the players are just trying to, make sure that they focus, but it just caught up with them. But I think, going on from now, moving forward, I expect us to go back to the way we were, more solid defensively, better organization. Considering 9 goals in 3 games is not good enough, obviously, but I think the players will fight through it. You can always concede against Madrid. Madrid have a lot of quality, so it's not too surprising that we conceded 2 at the Bernabeu. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, that first leg is just too much. You can't concede that many goals at home in this competition. You just cannot in the knockout stage. So it is what it is. I don't think it's too deep. It's not that big a deal. It's bad. 9 goals in 3 games. I remember there was a point earlier on in the season. It was around the time that we lost 3-2 to West Ham. I think we drew 3-3 with Zenit as well. You know, we were a little bit shaky at that point as well, but then things went back to the way they were. So I think it's just part of the season. It's just normal. You know, things will go up and down. We're still pretty good defensively, one of the best in the world. Still considered the 3rd least goals in the league. So I'm not really worried about the defense. I think we just need to make sure we stay focused for the last few games of the season, and we should be fine.
Yeah, thank you very much for that comment. Now, Nick, you want to add anything to that before I breeze through the chat and we can move to the next, the sell update on the Chelsea sell process?
Yeah. Look, the Brentford game, you know, I was there, and the atmosphere was dead, and it showed on the players. You know, the players wasn't there because what was going on, what's happening around the club. Roman gone. There's a lot of things. So they're human beings. End of the day, I know they get thousands of thousands of pounds. They get silly money. They get paid silly money, but they're still humans. And it showed, I could see it in their faces against Brentford. So I don't have any, I don't know, hold them responsible. That game, I hold the crowd responsible because they were worse than the players. They were dead. And, I was there and I experienced it. The next thing is, I was there at the first leg. Again, that was poor defending, yes. But still, we had the majority of the ball. What happened on that day was we gave too much space and freedom to Benzema to just get that hat trick. We let him go free, and Vinicius was, unmarked. It wasn't a game like Rhys James done a good job yesterday, but that first leg, there was he was nowhere to be seen. James, especially Christensen, he was terrible. He was at fault for the 2 goals. And even Rudiger and Silva had a bad game, bad defense. But like I said, they're only human. There's too many things happening around the club. But it showed how good and professional they were last night. To go, what Tuchel said to them, I know what he said to them. Just go out there and show yourselves. And don't be scared of no one. And they did just that. From the start, from the first minute, I saw them coming out. We were on top throughout the game. They got lucky. Real Madrid got lucky last night. Very lucky with the decisions. We should have had a penalty. We didn't get that. And Alonso scored a great goal, but he was ruled out. So I don't blame the players. We are the best defensive team in the league, and we will be at the end of the season. We got a few more games to play. We can still cover up for all the cracks.
Yeah, I get your argument, but I recognize the fact that we have the best defense in the league, if not the whole. That's at one point we were the best in the whole of Europe, I think. But the fact is that doesn't mean it remains like that forever. We have to recognize that something isn't quite right. Rudiger, though yesterday was phenomenal, in the past few games he's looked tired, even mentally tired. But again, that's by the way. I think we should be looking to have a capable, competition for him, so that
because Rudiger's played every single game.
Yeah, exactly. So we must recognize that.
And look at the way he performed. Yes, the last night was unbelievable, and to score that great goal, that's Rudiger.
Yeah.
I love the man, and I hope they give him what he's worth, because he's worth whatever he wants. He's worth it. But we need to have someone to cover up for him.
Yeah, I'm looking for Rick Blue in the chat. I don't know if Eric is a mod here yet, but I'll handle that later. So with that, I think it's only that we can switch to the next topic here. And again, for the mods in the chat, if you see any troll there, just leave them. They provide value, more views for us. I'll just try not to highlight it by mistake. Just let them speak their mind, except if they're cursing or saying something violence, just that's when you ban them. If not, if they're just saying holla Madrid or some nonsense like that, just leave them. They provide more value to the stream. So, Eric, if you're still with us, brother, now let's look at this comment here from this tweet here from Matt Law. I think it was today. Yep. It's 3 a.m. this 2 hours ago. So, and saying all Chelsea bidders have been told they must provide legal undertaking that they will guarantee at least £1 billion of investment in the club's infrastructure, its academy and women's team if they acquire it in the coming weeks. How big of a deal is this? How important is this? Eric?
I think it's huge. It's very important. We know that the club have been making plans to try and, redevelop the stadium. There needs to be some, some work done, maybe some expansion done well, definitely, to be honest, because the stadium capacity is not, it's not on the level of some of the other clubs. It's actually closer to the clubs that are not as big as us. So we have to look at the money side of things, and it is important to have a big stadium. So that is huge. That's very, very important. And that is also just part of the owners being able to sustain the club financially, not just having the money to buy it the first time, but being able to, spend after they signed, after they bought the club, after they bought the club, can you spend long term? Can you invest in the club the way a owner is required to do of a football club? So that's just one of the aspects of that. But I don't know what it would mean in terms of how long they would have. So would that be, a guaranteed £1 billion over the next 10 years, or what's the duration of that investment? How would it how would it be made? I don't know about those details, but this is good. Obviously, it's good to see, and it's important that Chelsea make sure that we have the owners who have the club's interest, and we don't end up in a position where an owner comes in and tries to take advantage of us. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's just a start. There should be a lot more scrutiny, a lot more attention to detail to make sure that we're not, in a bad position, because that is very important for us. Roman was trying to do it. He was trying to redevelop the stadium, potentially just build a new one, but he was having some pushback. And obviously, after the whole situation with him and in the
something what he described as unfavorable investment climate. Exactly. I think that was 2 years ago. But go ahead, brother.
Yeah, exactly. So he ended up not going ahead with it, but it's important. It's very important for the club long term. So it's good to see that they're trying to make sure that is secure.
Yeah, I think you explained it quite well. And I think it was Mikael the other day who said, but how long will that sustain the club? And you alluded to it also, because $1 billion, it sounds huge, but for a club like Chelsea Football Club, given player wages and how many elements mentioned there, just I call it elements a guarantee for at least $1 billion for investment in the club's infrastructure. That alone would take a lot of money. Its academy and the women's team, I think while $1 billion is huge, how long would that last? That's the question, but we can't just tell. We don't know what will happen. I thank you for that great input. Coming to you, Nick, what do you think about this development here?
Yeah, it's a great idea, of course. And I'm sure Chelsea, they're going to decide the owner based on that. How long is the $1 billion for? They're not going to just choose any owner just like that. They're going to go, look at every single point. And the good thing about all these owners are not the rich kids. Forget the rich kids, because how I feel about them. I don't think they're going to have a chance still. And, the other three, they all want to rebuild the stadium, which is a good thing. And they have to because, forget moving out of Stamford Bridge. That will never happen in my lifetime or your lifetime. That ain't going to happen. I don't care what anyone says. That's not happening.
Yeah, it's not easy.
No, it won't happen, Coach. We can rebuild to a 60,000 capacity, where we are. And that's what most Chelsea fans and the groups, that's what we want. I'm one of the Chelsea members on the Chelsea Trust. And we won't let Chelsea move out of Stamford Bridge. Simple as that. We are the pitch owners. We are Chelsea Trust. And we decide where Chelsea goes. Not any owner or anyone else. So get that straight. That won't happen.
Good point.
Happen because it's our ground. We've been, it's more, for me, it's like I was born there. I've been going there for 50 years. No way I'm going to move from that ground. Or, there's thousands like me who think the same. Anyway, I think they have to tell us, they will, they're getting there slowly, how long they're going to invest that money for. We're going to hear a lot more probably end of the week, I hope. We're going to, things will come out more. Chelsea are very careful. And Roman, don't forget, he's going to choose the right owner. He ain't going to choose anyone. And it's up to Roman. End of the day, it's up to Roman who the new owner is. Not just the Premier League. The government already accepted all 4 of the bidders. The government's finished now with the thing. And the Premier League, it's up to Roman end of the day. No one else. I know he's busy, but Marina is talking to him every single day. He knows what's going on. Don't get it wrong.
Yeah, I think he has eyes there, and then specifically, like you said, Marina will be updating him, and I think he will be informing him or educating him on the fans' pushback for the possibility of the Ricketts family becoming the new owners of Chelsea Football Club. But that's, by the way, I'm going to breeze through the chat, and if Eric is still here, and of which I can't thank him enough for staying this long, I will come back to him with a question. That's the next item that we want to talk about here. And please, if you're watching, wherever you're watching from, if you look at this screen, you can see that panel. Please be sure to go give them a follow. That's important, please. It's not easy. This is a pro bono job. They don't get paid for all the great inputs here. Please just all we can do is give them a follow. And also, if you haven't, please make sure to like the video. We have just 72 likes, and we've had a few minutes ago, we also had 111 people watching. So we should have at least 100 likes. The more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will push it to more people who are interested in this particular discussion. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and don't forget to hit the bell notification button. That goes a long way. Now, let me breeze through the chat, and I'll come to Eric. And if I say anything in the chat I feel Eric can address, I will do that immediately. I was reading this. I says, tomorrow is deadline day for new ownership, and Friday we will find out who will win. Finger crossed it's Bali. That's again, to me, if you ask me, I prefer the Matten Broughton Consortium for obvious reason. But again, that's me. So 10, what happens? Yeah, I get your point, just Viola, but just let them stay there, except if they say something, when it gets serious, you ban them. But if not, leave them. They provide value to the stream, so I wouldn't even worry too much about them. Says here, are we being bought at the bargain? Nope. And it's been in the media that Chelsea, after the sale, will probably be, that is a club would be sold at an amount that no other club in the world or no other sports team in the world has been sold for. I think that's going to be the case. Absolute Chelsea, Stephen Pagliuca has released a statement on his Chelsea bid. I think I read that yesterday. But again, thank you for reminding us. And if I can get a link to that statement, that would be good, so that we can look at it together and analyze the statement with those in the chat. So just real, if you can find that Stephen Pagluka statement, that will go a long way. The Glazers, okay. I think Man United spent recklessly. They spent over $1 billion, but they didn't just spend strategically, and they haven't solved the problem they have at the club. So I wouldn't say they ruined the club. That is just some stereotype against Americans. Stephen Pagluka beat Chelsea, want to build a state-of-the-art Stamford Bridge. Everybody wants to do that. So that really doesn't make him stand out, if you ask me. State of the art, yep, he says. This breaking Stephen Pagluka confirmed the makeup of his Chelsea beats includes John Terry's True Blues. Yes, I was going to read something regarding that. Whoever comes in will bring a new stuff, new methods, etc., and time will tell if it blends well. That will be a huge mistake to try to change things. The best bet for the new owners would be to build on what Roman Abramovich already has in place. Because as the old saying goes, if it's not broken, why fix it? Eric, can you address this comment on the screen?
Okay, and time will tell if it blends well. Yeah, I mean, that's true. They'll bring the whatever board they think will be best fit to take over. I'm expecting Marina to leave. I don't think she'll stay. I don't think Bruce Buck will stay. But it should be interesting to see if whoever the new board is can do a better job or a similar job to what the previous board has done so far. I have no idea what to even think about, with regards to that. What would happen? I have no. I wouldn't even be able to start. I don't know where I would need to, be able to start from to give any kind of analysis on that. We just have to wait and see who is brought in and who stays potentially, and we'll go from there. But whoever it is and whatever happens, the main thing is that Tuchel needs to be backed by the new ownership. He needs to be given everything he needs to succeed, because so far he has proven and he has shown that he can work with what he has, he can improve what he has. So he deserves to be given more. He deserves to be invested in and given the best opportunity to compete with Man City and Liverpool and all the other teams, So those are the main two, to be honest. I don't think I can mention any others right now. Those two teams are the best teams right now we're competing with. So that's what I'm hoping for. No matter who the board is, who stays, who leaves, and hopefully some of these concerns we've had and some concerns that I've had personally for a while, maybe they might be able to, actually invest in the right people, football people to make the right footballing decision. So that would be good to see.
Yeah, let me. What was it? I think I just lost my thoughts. I had something I wanted to say after that, but I think I wanted to say yes, exactly. Thank you. I wanted to say this: would the new owners make changes to some measure? At least, yeah, they will. But then again, Eric, I want you to tell me before I go to Nick, how much of a change will be a risk?
So you mean risk in terms of the
changing too much? But how much of that change will be too much?
So okay, so I wouldn't want to see an immediate clear out. That wouldn't be good. So that's where you would see, I would that would be a red flag for me. You can't have such a sudden change. You need a situation where things, organically change. Some people move on, but not just where you just come in and say, "Oh, I'm the new boss now. All of you have to leave. I'm bringing all of my guys in." This is not that kind of, Chelsea are not that kind of club to do something like that. And I think when you've had an owner who has been at the club for so long, you need to give it time. You can't just come in and rush and try and change everything. And that would be a very good way to give a very bad first impression as a new owner. So they can't make any. The main thing is they can't make any changes drastically. It can't. It
It
can't
would
be
be
drastic change.
dangerous.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good, especially with
Hmm.
Tuchel. Anything to do with Tuchel and his his coaching staff. You just have to leave it alone. Just leave Tuchel. Let him do what he's doing. You know, if he has anything he needs, he'll inform you guys, tell you, and you just provide whatever he needs. And then whoever feels that they want to stay or whatever, it's difficult because some people might say I want to go now, and some people might say maybe I'll stay a little bit longer. It's always difficult to have that kind of balance. But
Hmm.
I would say not trying to change anything too drastically would be the way to go.
Yeah, yeah, good argument right there. Because if it's not broken, why fix it? And if you change too much, it will affect a whole lot of stuff. And again, one point to note is that I think Tuchel likes the structure of Chelsea Football Club. If that changes in a way that you try to get him involved in the political aspect of the whole process, I think that's when he starts to consider to leave. You could argue that's the issue, the problem he had at PSG, but that's by the way, I want to quickly go through the chart and then we'll go to the next item we have on that in that tab. This says Rodrigo says keep the blue flag flying high, and we have right now we have 91 people watching, and we still have just 75 likes. Come on, people, we can do better than that. Please do smash that like button if you haven't. It will go a long way for the channel, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Please do that. I'd appreciate it if you can take just a second to do that. Fraser says Todd Bowley will replace a scout department. Possibly if he feels like they're not doing a good enough job. She sent me a DM. I'll check it out in a bit. Again, he's data driven. Again, no, yeah, we know that data is good if you can use it effectively, but I don't know if it will work when you talk about a football. The transition will be difficult. We need a football person and not a hedge fund. They are in for the profit. Again, yep, only Roman is different. You could say that, and that that must be noted. But would we have bought Lukaku? Is the question. I think if you're using, that's where I say maybe data doesn't really work. If you're using data, that is, if you stop your calculations just based on if you do your calculations based on his exploits in Italy, then you have a problem. You have to check overall how he performed against some certain type of team, certain style of play, and all that. That's important. And wow, I have to say, for this, from my brother, the Green Tough, he didn't even make a comment, but that's a huge $20. Wow, I appreciate that. And with that, I know I haven't said that for a while, probably because I haven't seen you bring your fight on. You know, you always like to fight me whenever you see me on a panel. I'd say if you haven't, most of you already know, go check out the Green Tough, one of the biggest Chelsea content creators around, yet humble, yet likes to promote other people's channel. Mine, Thai Talks, a lot of people, he does that quite a lot. And I cannot thank him enough for how he's helped my channel get to where it is today. So my brother, Ox from Green Tough, thank you again. And he has the other channel called Global Fans Channel. You have to go check it out. It is always open panel. Always you have a chance to call in there to speak your mind. Ox, I can't thank you enough, brother. And I hope to find a way to pay you back. Yes, I know it's not always, you've asked me to stop donating to your channel, but I have to always find a way to say thank you for how you support me and all the channels around town. Big up to you. I sincerely do appreciate that. And he says, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. That I want to hear. Thank you very much, brother. That will go a long way. So I will quickly go to the next tab and see let me check what Josiola has for me before we move on. We've read this one. So let me check what she has for me. And again, I can't thank you enough, Jos Viola, who is one of the queens of the house, always helping the channel. Let me see this one here. Okay, and I want to read this one before we go to the other one. So, Eric, I'm going to start from you again. Nick, I've gotten your thought. Nick, have I gotten your thought on the 1 billion, what we could call a deposit? Nick Blue, have you said anything about that?
Yeah, he did. I remember he talks about it.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Let's start with this one. John Terry's a true Blues consortium of Chelsea fans went in to acquire a 10% stake in the club as part of its imminent sale by Roman Abramovich, has endorsed the bid spearheaded by private equity billionaire Steve Pagliuca and NBA chairman Larry Tenenbaum. Reading beyond this, Eric, do you sense anything? Does it sound to you like Pagliuca might well emerge and his consortium might well, and his group might well emerge as the winners?
I'm not sure. It's difficult. I have no idea what's how to read into. Let me just quickly read this. Endorsed a bid. Right. Okay. So basically, it's sort of some kind of partnership with Mr.
Just 10% stake, and they go in the name of their fans or something like that. But go ahead.
So that's in anticipation of him possibly being the new owner, right? So that means that he has some stake in the club. I don't know if I agree with I don't know why he's doing it. So I don't know what his motives are. On the surface, it seems harmless, but I'm not sure with that one. I don't know why he would try to, be financially invested in the club as a stakeholder. I'm not sure how if that is a good thing for an ex-player to be a stakeholder in the ownership of the club. But at the same time, I don't know what his motives are. I don't know why he wants to do that. So it's a difficult one for me to judge. But I don't think this tells us that Pagliuca is more likely to be the new owner than anybody else. So I don't really see it from this tweet here. But it's interesting. I can say that much. I can't really think of too many comparisons where an ex-player you see usually where an ex-player is like a director of football or he's some kind of ambassador, but I can't think of too many scenarios where an ex-player who is a fan of a club becomes a stakeholder in that club. I can't really think of examples of that has happened before. So it's strange. It's a little bit strange, but let's just see what happens. I'm not sure why Terry wants to be involved in that way.
Yeah, here's the key phrase I got from your comment. It is strange. Even to some extent, to some people, I think some people will see it as suspicious. Some people will see it as an indicator that the Steve Pagliuca consortium will probably emerge as the new winners, because you could argue, some will argue if you ask them that John Terry might have an insider, may be communicating with some people that's told him this are the group that will most likely emerge, as the new owners. That's a possibility. But like that phrase there, it's strange. We're in a weird way, brother. So I appreciate you putting it like that. And if you're in the chat, we have a few minutes to round up. If you have any question, then that I still have Eric available, and you're saying how good and powerful his responses has been. And to me, it's still morning here, so I'm still going to show the Blue Morning board up there, and I will make sure you see Nick Eric Blue's Twitter handle. Please go give him a follow. He's been brilliant. He's made it a very, very good show with his presence. For his presence. Again, I would still want to go back and say thank you to my brother Uggs for this super chat. That means the world to me. But again, you don't have to do that like you've told me when I donate to your channel. So if you have any questions, please do let us know. Now that I still have Eric, and we will try and address it. Let me see if I highlighted anything here. Nothing else that I highlighted there. So I'm going to go to this one here. I think let's try and go through this one. Eric, can you see my screen, or do you want me? Still, I have to read it though. You still there, Eric?
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry. I can see the screen. Yeah, I can see.
Okay, I'll read it. I'll read it. Let me just read it. It says, Pagliuca announces Larry Tenenbaum has joined. I think, is this new? I think we've heard that before. This is a new development, actually. This is today. Tenenbaum, wasn't he one of Chelsea, but isn't he part of the Chelsea board?
Yes, he is.
So now he's announced. So something like you said is strange and weird here. There's something we don't know. Where he says, like, let's watch this now. He says, Pagliuca announces Larry Tenenbaum has joined as consultant managing partner of his Chelsea bid and provides a more detailed breakdown of his investment team. Peter Aguba is an interesting name here, given the success of the Warriors. And again, credit to Len Tuomi. He says, Mr. Pagliuca and Mr. Tenenbaum.
Sorry to cut
Go
you
ahead.
off. I think that's a difference. Yeah, I think that's a different tenant. It's a different one. It's not the Chelsea one.
Not the Chelsea one, right? But we have a Tenenbaum in our board, right?
Yeah, we do. We do.
Okay. Now, Mr. Pagliuca and Mr. Tenenbaum are joined by all the leaders in business, media, and technology, including former Disney CEO Bob Iger and what again am I looking at? Founder Eduardo. Okay, and Facebook co-founder. That's Brazilian. I remember the Facebook co-founder is a Brazilian, but he left the US for tax purposes or something like that. I don't want to go into that. Co-founder Eduardo Severin and businesswoman Elena Severin, B Capital co-founder Raj Gujuri, co-owner of the Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Dodgers, and Los Angeles Football Club, Peter Guba, Global Ventures Capital, Jim Brea of Brea Capital, Investor John Bobank, and serial tech entrepreneur Div Tokakia. In addition, the group welcomes the endorsement and support of the Blue Consortium and organization. So these guys have gotten even bigger than other groups. Your thoughts, Eric? Something seems, the whole thing seems to be aligning for them. And it just looks like you've established, Eric, it looks like John Terry must know something we do not know. Your thoughts, Eric?
Yeah, no doubt. Terry would know something that we don't know, which is why he's decided to, try to be a stakeholder. Yeah, the Tenenbaum here is Larry, but the one at Chelsea is Eugene. So it's not the same person. Yeah, I'm not going to focus on any of this stuff. I have to be honest. This is all just noise for me. I'm struggling to. I can't read into anything at this point anymore. We've done that for so long, and we just keep getting conflicting messages that just keep contradicting each other. So I'm not really reading anything into this. It just shows that things are going on behind the scenes. But this deal will probably be done, towards the end of the month. Maybe towards the end of the season, maybe the last day of the season. I don't know. But I think around then is when we'll have a better idea of what's actually going to happen. So for me, this is all just talk. Like I'm not reading anything into this.
Nick, your thoughts?
Yeah, tell me. I lost what you were talking about. Oh, about John Terry. You were talking.
Yeah, and the group and how big they've grown. And Eric just made a good comment. But one thing, and Eric and I agree on, is that John Terry must know something we do not know for the fact that he's aligning. He's openly announced that they're joining forces with this group. Because if you really wanted something like that, Eric, I'll come back to you, Nick Blue. You wouldn't just commit yourself to one of the groups if you don't know anything. If he doesn't know anything we don't know. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Something or not?
No, I'm asking you something. I had to go back to Eric to just make a point, but it's your chance. It's your chance. Go ahead, Nick. I didn't mean to stop you from talking. Okay.
Yeah, it's all right, Eric. I'll come after Eric. It's all right.
No, yes, I just agree.
No. It was your turn. I was just reminding Eric something.
Just reminded me. We were talking before you came back. I think you left.
You get the point. I wasn't stopping you from talking. I was reminding him what we're talking about. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Eric,
carry on. I'll come back when I.
No. It's.
So
Eric wasn't talking.
I wasn't talking.
I reminded him something we talked about. So that I told you now. Yeah, go ahead. Right. We're saying. Do you want me to explain, Nick?
Yeah, go.
We're saying, it looks like John Terry knows something we don't know. But the fact that his True Blues group has committed themselves openly. They've made it open that they're joining forces with Steve Pagliuca, that he probably knows something we don't know. So
Yeah,
you go ahead. What do you think?
yeah, I agree. Yeah, of course he must know something. He must know something, but I still think Todd Bowley for me is the favourite. I know you think it's Bolton, but
No, I'm not saying they're the favorite. I just like them, but go ahead.
yeah, I know. But they're all similar. Bolton, Todd Bowley, they're all similar. They're saying what they're gonna do. The similar things. Rebuild Chelsea. Everyone's saying they're gonna rebuild Chelsea. You know, let's see who does it when they come in. And the Ricketts, you know what they'd be saying. We're going to rebuild Stamford Bridge straight away. But
They've
I'm
been the
sure,
most cool. Go ahead.
yeah, but I'm sure Roman is not going to choose the Ricketts. Yeah, but John Terry must know he's in the club. He knows what's going on. But he ain't going to come out and say everything. He's going to be quiet about it. And I don't mind, I don't mind John Terry's group. It doesn't sound too bad. But I just think that Todd Bowley is more powerful from them. I just have a feeling, And I think, because he's got Griffin with him and that other guy who's coming and put all that money in, he's going to put all that billions, 22 billion. It sounds good. So let's just... for me, end of the day, I'll go what Roman chooses. Roman chooses whoever he chooses. I'm with him because Roman knows what he's going to do. I just hope they don't change, the Chelsea board too much. I want Marina to stay if possible, but more likely she's going to go with Roman because he's going to buy a new club, as we know. But if there's a way for her to stay, I'll be very happy. We don't want to change too much because we have something going. What Roman has built, he has to, stay there. We don't want too many changes for sure. So let's see what happens. We can only talk and speculate like we have been for this thing came out, since the sanctions. But we don't know. None of us know what's going to happen in the end. We're just all hopeful. Hopeful is the right owners. That's all.
Yeah, that's very important. And I want to say something quickly before I go to Eric again. I think with regards of whom Romano would decide to choose, because again, it all comes down to him signing off on the whole process. I think his legacy at Chelsea, he wouldn't want to, select any owner or owners that will, in the long run, cause the fans to look around and say, oh, well, you cost it. You chose this guys. But then again, at the same time, I wouldn't want a situation whereby, for any reason whatsoever, the Ricketts become they become that the group that he feels like, okay, these are the guys that would take good care of Chelsea Football Club. For any reason, I don't want that to happen. But that's by the way. Eric, coming to you because we're rounding up. We have about 8 minutes to round off. This comment on the screen saying NBA style management will bring us one step closer to the Super League. Is that a concern for you? Because the fact is, this guys clearly none of them can say they're not coming into this and not looking to get the return on their investments from the club. That would be a huge lie if any of them decide that's what they want to do. But we know they're all profit focused. Maybe they won't prioritize focus at first, because they have a lot of work to do for us to get the club to become, to be yield profit for them in the first place. Are you concerned that at any point in time that they may decide to join the Super League? Because they promised a lot of money, if you remember.
I'm always concerned about the Super League, not necessarily because it is this huge anti-football thing, but mainly because of the certain things that we don't agree with in terms of a lot of football fans don't agree with something that diminishes competition, something that doesn't have jeopardy. Like if you lose, it needs to mean something when you lose, when you miss out. This in this country every season I'm talking about obviously England. Every season, a team goes down in the football league. A team gets
Yeah,
relegated. A team
yeah,
gets
and
promoted.
that's one of the most interesting aspect of the whole thing.
Yeah, it's real. It's real life. It's serious. You know, people's jobs are on the line. You know, managers keep getting sacked every season. So this is part of what makes it interesting. You know, the jeopardy aspect, the competition aspect, and those are the biggest things for me. That needs to be maintained in terms of what football used to be maybe 40, 50 years ago.
Mm.
That it will never be the same because the money will never go back to it will always become about it will always be about money from this point. That will never go out of the game. It's too late for that. The inflation will just keep increasing, and we can't change that. But in terms of making the competition something that is based on merit, based on what you've done, not based on your past, not based on
Hmm.
what you did 50 years ago, oh, we're a bigger club, so we deserve to be here. No. Obviously, if you have been involved in something for longer, I'm not saying there shouldn't be some kind of benefit for that, but it's just about being fair and make having a situation where you know you don't um, you don't treat people unfairly, and you have the sport needs to have integrity. That's basically what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, that's important.
And when you look at the new Champions League format, the new setup, it
Hmm.
doesn't look good. It really doesn't. So I'm not going to be here telling you that oh, what we have is perfect. We shouldn't change it because those guys are so corrupt. But what we're doing now here is fine. No, everybody's corrupt, but it's just about what is the lesser of two evils. What is the least corrupt, the least what's the word? What's the least
Corrupt, maybe
uh,
process. Oh no, no,
yeah,
no.
so something that has integrity, as much integrity as possible. That's what we're looking for. So I'm not necessarily against the Super League in and of itself, but I think another new owner, be it an American owner of a big club, is definitely going to add to that. And I expect I expect the Super League to happen again, or to come up again at least. And it's just a
And
matter of
and at
time.
this time, I don't think they'll be silenced.
No, they might not. And if the Super League happens in the end, let's not be surprised about it because it just depends on how they promote it. How does it
And
look?
Eric, can I come on that while you're talking about the Super League?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
me
you for
personally,
allowing him, Eric.
yeah,
I appreciate that.
yeah.
Go
Just
ahead.
me personally, I don't think that will happen in my lifetime. Thank God. It could well happen after, in the next generation, this new generation. But I don't see it happening right now. Even the government are against any Super League because that will ruin the football, the working people's football, for the centuries. Even now, everyone's against that. Don't forget in this country, I can't see that happening. Even whoever rich new American owners are going to be, they won't be able to do it because the fans won't allow it. I'm telling you that. But yeah, they can try. They will try it probably, but they're going to have a lot to deal with. I'm telling you, it won't be just those thousands who turned up at the last Super League proposal. There's going to be thousands more. The whole country might come
No.
out for this.
This is
Yes,
why I say it depends on how they do it. If they present
yes,
it in a different way, maybe
but
they'll
they
accept
can't.
it.
The Super League is it's going to be the main big teams: Liverpool, United, Real Madrid, Chelsea.
Nick, if you know
Yeah,
this, Nick, can I ask you a question, Nick?
yeah,
Somebody said something. Maybe I'm poorly educated in terms of what the UK government did. Somebody said something that UK's government should I say established some policies that would deter English
yes.
club to
That's what I'm
even trying
saying.
to participate.
Yes, yeah. They put a policy out. They won't let that happen. I heard it. That was on the news.
Mm.
At that time, if you remember, there's a policy. Yeah, they're against it. Even Boris Johnson came out and spoke about it. they won't let that happen. And I'm glad the government have some brains, you know. All the stupid things are done with Roman, but they do have something. Thank God.
I mean, things can change though. You know,
Yeah, it
can
can.
Now,
change.
Somebody can come into
the
power and just
government.
kill.
Now, not this country, Eric. Not in this country. You change everywhere else, but not in England.
No, they
Don't
can.
forget,
They can change
England's
in England. Trust me.
Here's the thing,
invented
Nick.
football.
Go ahead, Nick. When you're finished, I
Now
want
they
to say
can't.
something to
No,
you.
you are wrong. You make your talk sound nice, but you're now he's wrong. I'm
Sorry,
saying you're wrong. That will never happen in this country.
who's
So
I mean?
forget it.
Here's my argument, Nick. Just let me know when you're done so that I'll tell you why I say it can change.
I said it won't happen.
That's a
That's why I
possibility won't happen.
disagree. If
Why
Yeah.
won't it
you're
happen?
saying if wait a minute, Coach.
Mhm.
Yeah, Enrique is saying if these new Americans, yeah, I'm saying it won't happen because the government are against it. That's why.
Go
Right.
You
ahead.
understand what I'm saying? Or you
Yeah.
know, it can happen anywhere else in the world, but England won't do this. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, can I ask you this, Nick? Is there a chance, Nick? Are you listening to me, Nick?
I think there's a delay with Nick, so he can hear you.
Yeah, Nick,
Yeah,
can you hear
I'm
me?
here. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Now,
Yes.
here's my take on that. When it happened, I think Boris also did see it as an opportunity to get on the good side of people. Those that weren't even supporting him liked the fact that he made a move to stop that from happening. Even though there's been the saying that sports and football don't mix, especially football. Sports and politics don't mix, especially football. When you talk about football,
Yeah.
there's a chance that somebody else comes into power. Policies do change. And once that changes,
Okay, that's different.
anything can happen.
Yeah, but even if the Labour come in next, they're gonna put there'll be a vote, there'll be a poll for all the people in this country, and most people they don't want to lose what they have. It's the one thing they have to go and escape. So like me, I have Chelsea, and I have this is a brilliant league we have. Even before the Premiership, it was first division, second, third, and fourth. That was great. It was great competition. But the Premiership came along, and it's made it even better right now. But most people in this country won't allow this to happen, especially
right.
football going people who actually go to these grounds. You can make a poll and see how against this Super League will be. It will even be more against it than ever before. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. 1 second. Let me just do something quickly now that I can see Eric's comments here before I miss it again. Eric, can you quickly just type something in the chat if you can? I'm looking for you.
Right. Are you? I'll just quickly. Can you see it?
Okay, did you just type something? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, no, okay. You already actually more than I think you weren't. I was thinking you weren't. So, okay, but that's Nick. I get your argument, and I think thank you for saying that. I think more importantly, the football going people, like they did before, will always be against it. I think that's where I see your point clearly now. Thank you for that. I think we'll be rounding off in a minute or two, but I got to breeze through the chat and come back to Eric so that if he has anything to say, his final thoughts on the discussion for the day, and anything else you want to say, he should. And you, Nick. Here, Big Up Blues. Mikhail says again, different numbers. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I mixed them up, but I didn't know. I am back. Yeah, again, please, guys, go check out Z Volley, Matt's new YouTube channel. Some good contents there, all good content, so to speak. You will love them, and you will thank me later. Okay, Eric updated you here. And here's all these people love football. Yep, we all love football, all of them too. And yeah, agreed. I'm not sure about this owner stuff. Now, news isn't reliable. Yep, because none of us are at the table with a Rain Group who are responsible for who are facilitating this whole process. If you want, at the end of the day, it is out of the pundits' hands. Yep, we must say that. And right now we have 90 likes, so we're just 10 likes away to reach 100 likes. So please, if you haven't, make sure to smash that like button. It is for free. And if anybody asks you to pay, tell them I already paid for you, please. I'd appreciate it if you can take a minute to do that. Larry T is head of NBA in the US. Okay, so you know what to expect. Mikhail, okay, no Tariqet. This is no English here. We need new owners as soon as possible. Yes, we do. Globetrotters FC incoming. I hope that's not the case. Smash that like button, says Steve Chelsea. My Jet brother, and please do smash that like button. I'm going to skip this one. Mikhail here says, wait, I should have known this. Larry Tenenbaum is chairman of MLSE, run the other way, owns the least winning richest team in NHL. Oh my goodness. Smash that like button, Real Madrid fans. Yes, let them do that as long as they're here. I was confusing Larry with Adam Silver for some reason. My bad. That's okay. We don't just need new owners. We need someone who will be able to manage the club. And you're capable hand. I get the point. Here, what do we have here? It will only be sold to those that can pay Ebra by other means. Do not be misled. Possibly that may be the case. We don't know. Larry Tenenbaum is also chairman of the board of NBA, so I was kind of right. Yep, you are. Okay, you fixed your error yourself. And they're trying to fulfill their bids with more fortified, with more and more investors. That's worrying, really. Yep, it is worrying indeed. Here's the template of North American franchise sports. Yep. Okay, that's Eric. When I said type something, so many pundits are excited that Chelsea are out. But we will put them to shame. We will eventually bounce back stronger. Let's be clear, the Super League is just another form of Champions League. The Premiership would still continue. The only flaw is the competitive side. I think, it's a huge flaw, and that's like a saying, if you're not rich, you cannot be part of us. So I don't think it makes a sense. It's probably, you could call it consortium of rich clubs. I don't think it makes sense. Larry is also chairman of MSA, own all the sports franchises in Toronto, the Maple Leafs, Toronto Raptors, Toronto FC, and all that. And with that, I don't think there's anything else. This one says Tuchel needs backing in time in this summer. Okay, to be honest, he needs about 6 players, but I know it will be difficult. 6 players under new owner. Yeah, that would be drastic. Usually, even if you need 6 players, you do it gradually. Okay, Nick, coming to you, your final thoughts on the topic for the day. Any advice for Chelsea fans as we await the announcement of the new owners, or as we just follow the wholesale process conundrum, if you like?
Yeah, look, with the new owners, we have to just be a little bit more patient. It's literally coming to the end.
Mm-hmm.
So let's hope he's the right owner. And like I said before, I will back whoever Roman backs. Whoever Roman wants, I'm with Roman. End of the day, Roman will be back at Chelsea as a fan. And we're going to have a big, statue or a stand named after him very soon. I know that for sure. And, he's done that great for us. And I'll never forget, I always love Roman. And, so I'm sure he won't choose this week. I can't see. If that happens, I'll be dead. I can't see him doing that. But the Bowleys have a good chance. Bolton has a good chance. And the other ones, I think they're third in the running. John Terry's not. They'll be third down the list. For me, it's Bowley and Bolton, the top 2 right now. And I'm sure it's going to be one of them. And
I hope so.
And coming to the game again, very proud of the team. I hope every Chelsea fan in the world is proud of this team last night, because they gave everything they could. They couldn't give more. And coming up to Sunday, we have to win on Sunday. It's a massive game, even bigger now, because we want to win this FA Cup. We haven't won the FA Cup for 4 years. It's about time we won it now. That's my final thoughts. Good to hear Eric again. I know Eric on the channels for a long time, and Eric always makes good points. Apart from the Super League one, I'd say that. I'm joking with you, Eric. Because I don't want. You know why? Because I'm so against it. I'm against that. And then the rich kids. You understand?
Yeah.
Nick, that's one of the reasons why I always like to have you on the panel. You understand, yes, argument may arise, but how you handle the argument is not a fight. The truth is we can all never agree. We disagree to agree. We'll learn from each other. That's the most important point, and that's why I love you, Nick. Eric, coming to you. The floor is just tell us what round off the topic for us, everything we've talked about, your advice to the Chelsea fans, and anything else you want to say. The floor is yours, brother.
Okay, so I am very happy to be on once again. It was very long since the last time, so I made sure that I stay as long as I could. I'm happy that I was able to. I know I didn't come right at the start, but I was able to stay on for most of it. Very happy and proud of the performance from the team against Madrid. You can't always win in football, unfortunately, and I think I couldn't care less about people who are trying to lord this defeat over us. I couldn't care less about that. I know what we have. I know the quality we have, and we're on our way to, greater things in the future, hopefully.
Yeah.
And obviously we still have the FA Cup to play for. We still have to make sure we secure that third spot. So I just would urge the fans to keep supporting the team, and obviously just hope for the best, and let's just keep watching. In terms of the owners, I'm not going to follow it. I feel as if it's a waste of my time, so I won't bother. Obviously, I can talk about it when I come on and whenever someone asks me a question, but I wouldn't even focus on that too much. Hopefully, we get the right owners, and I think Roman has the final say, which is a good thing. And we'll just see how that one. We'll see what happens with that. But in terms of the rest of the season, get top four. Obviously, finish third. Not just get top four. We need to finish third, at least, and we need to win the FA Cup. That has to be, the priority right now, and that's the focus, and that's what I'm looking at for the rest of the season. Hopefully, we can just, and we have some kind of clarity, because we still don't have, we don't know what's going to happen. The future is still a bit shaky right now, so that's all I have to say. I can't say much more than that. Obviously, thanks for having me on your channel, your fantastic channel once again. Really enjoy the content you produce. I can't speak highly enough of it. Thanks for the kind words from Nick. Much appreciated. And I like speaking to people about, obviously, like-minded Chelsea supporters.
Yeah.
And Nick is interesting as well. I like Nick and his points. I like his style.
Hardcore.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. So,
Eric, thanks a lot. You're my friend. I always we have our disagreements sometimes, but I can tell how much you love Chelsea, and I'm so proud of the fact. Yeah,
and his boy got a new haircut.
I come across a bit, angry. It's my frustration, with everything. You understand? That's why. Nothing to do with people on the channels or whatever. It's the frustration I have what's going on with our club and why they got rid of Roland. It's just frustrating.
Yeah. And I think Eric understands that arguments do arise in such conversations or debates. After all, it's a debate after all. And Eric, you're my brother. You're always welcome. And at this point, the panel will always be open for a while until the cell conundrum is over. Then it will be closed, and it will be 2 panelists every day, 30 minutes to 1 hour. But some days, with Saturdays and exception Saturdays, will always be marathon. I can't thank you enough, brother. And if you're still watching, look at Eric's Twitter handle, and I will add it to the description section so that you can go join him. But even at that, Eric, I'll still be sending you the link in case whenever you have time to join us, because your inputs are just brilliant, and I just cannot thank you enough, brother. I appreciate you so much. With that, I want to also say thank you to everybody in the chat, from Just Viola, one of the queens of the house, for staying till this point, 3 hours plus. That's not easy. Frizz, always good to have you around. Great input from you. And Mikhail, always good to have you now around. Buzzer Boss, I think this is your first time. Good to see you here. And also Digital Art, I think this is your first time. Also good to see you here. And many other people that have come and left, because it is a marathon show. And please, if you haven't already, right now we have 94 likes. You can help us bump it up to 100 likes. That will make a huge difference. I hope to see you guys again tomorrow for another Blue Morning show. So I say, God bless us all. See you all tomorrow, and cheers.